The ClevelandMoto podcast is brought to you by Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
All right, guys, it's another episode of the ClevelandMoto podcast. That was good. Everybody, look at that. Wow. Shots fired all the way around the room. Episode number 331.
Or if you're watching, 3E1.
If you're watching, 3 backwards E1 because Steve didn't steal the whole kit. He only stole 90% of the letter kits.
True.
Yep. So if you're working at, what do you think that was, Michael's Crafts or something?
Michael's Crafts, 100%.
If you're working there and you notice that one of your kits doesn't have any letters in it, ClevelandMoto podcast, brought to you by Manscaped.
But I did notice, I didn't know this at the time, but apparently this is a very popular sign for podcasts. Like I was going through it, and a lot more people have this sign.
Everyone's using that.
Now we just checked off another, we're legit.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's how you can tell the real players.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They got that little light up box thing.
And only cool people can improvise.
Well, yeah. That's it.
Well, maybe that sign company thinks they're legit now that we're using it.
Hey,
That's true.
Maybe.
That's right.
I'll make a call on Monday.
There's two types of people in this world: those who can extrapolate from incomplete information, and all right. So,
My marquee light box.
is that what the brand name is? So, oh, great! Now all the podcasts are going to have it.
Thanks, John.
Misfits are going to have that shit next week. You know,
I spent 7 minutes figuring out
Twice
where
as
to get
big.
that and how to get one, and then you just ruined it for
you just
me.
had to read it out to the whole goddamn world of the interwebs. Fucking hell!
I don't know if we're going to have enough people to have a good show today.
Oh, I know. Yeah, right. As many of our folks will know who've listened to the podcast more than once, they'll know that sometimes it takes us 2 hours to get our names read. We're not going to do that today. We're going to make it all the way through in one shot. By God, I swear to God, we're going to make it. I just know we're going to make it. So to my right,
Oh, that's me, Steve Sleepy.
it is.
Wow, you changed it up on
I
me.
did, didn't I?
I was like, I got plenty of time to figure out something cool, and then you just dump it on
So
me.
no, but I did want to just mention, you are wearing ska.
All of it.
I mean, I have a pork pie hat in my office.
I should probably put
You literally look like Cocoa Beach ska.
I just wanted to be comfortable.
You
today.
are comfortable. Yeah. You know, later on you can pick it up. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You'll be ready for that. My God, man. Yeah, that was. When I saw you come in, I was like, wow. Yeah, we're gonna have our ska listeners are gonna be quite impressed by that.
Except for the German guy that hates ska and likes death metal. Now he hates me.
Now he just fucking can't
than he
stand
already
it. Exactly.
did.
Yeah, that's it. And to my left,
Oscar?
hey,
Chris Smith won.
with a new haircut too. You've got a very tidy haircut as well, looking very dapper. And now again, he is Chris Smith number 1. We'll get to that in a minute.
OG.
The OG Chris Smith.
Right.
Again, Chris Smith if you're nasty. And to his left,
Johnny Mac.
and to his,
Dan Kromke.
Dan, very rarely do you show up and we have a bottle of whiskey for you. Because usually you have bottles of whiskey for us. But yes, the giving Dan always giveth. But to your left,
Duncan got him.
brought in, what the hell, Duncan?
It's some good 60-year-old Canadian whiskey.
Yeah, being drunk by an almost good 60-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whiskey was new the last time he was.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. And Duncan, to your left,
Chris Smith, number 2.
Chris Smith number 2, a bit of a package deal with your son,
Eli Smith.
Eli Smith. Yeah, so these are the guys a few podcast episodes ago when I'll tell you, when we've talked about the guy just rolling in with a pickup truck and being straight up, yeah, I'm not here to bullshit. I'm here to buy those 5 bikes. And like just showed up and just threw down like a fucking hero, like a legend. And that was funny because you were already listening to our podcast and he walked up wearing an AVE shirt. Oh, we're just like, fuck it. Okay, that's it. We got nothing for this guy. We could sit and talk, but we'll all just say the same shit back and forth to each other for hours. We're both motorcycle people who watch the exact same source of information.
Keep your dicks in a vice to home.
Exactly. Yeah, that it's all gonna come back to us. Yeah. So that's our thing, and your humble narrator, Phil Waters. So again, I do want to call out to our batch of listener that again, and we haven't heard anything back from Anne Marie, and I did check. She is actually a woman.
Okay.
It's not. We're not being catfished by the fine folks at Manscaped, but it is in fact. We're going to continue with this stupid Manscaped thing until we ride it right into the rails.
Now, I have a question. Do they have a Ladyscape?
Well, I think that they should.
Yeah.
And they played the lawnmower card, right?
There's like a little rubber end on it, and you'd have a double use.
Oh, but it doesn't do much for the grooming then, does it?
No,
it doesn't. Not at all.
I think it needs to, but
There you go. So we're not sure. So what I've said is until we get any communication from them, because I think we were in our trial period probably.
Yeah, right, I'm sure.
I probably in our trial period. And then, so I figured we're just going to run with this until they send us the cease and desist letters.
Yeah.
So it'll be the opposite of advertising. It'll be the literally leave us the fuck alone, quit talking about our shit on the air.
Well, that'll cost them a lot of money to have a stop in that case.
there you go. Reverse psychology.
Oh, you want us to stop? Huh?
Okay.
Oh yeah. You can pay me. You can pay me now or pay me later,
I mean,
right?
nobody can really stop you from saying Manscaped. You know.
Oh, again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we
unless
really
you're
like
Hofford.
Manscaped.
Hofford would stop you. He doesn't want
He's
to.
not real happy about
No,
that.
no.
Yeah, he thinks we could all do a lot better. But mostly, I just don't want to live in a universe where he wins. So it's just too much for me. It's more than I could actually handle. But getting into some of the news of the day that we have to not pump brakes on a certain story that's out there. That's floating around because everybody's talking about the Livewire spinning off into its own entire brand.
Right.
So in the spirit of Cleveland Moto, we're going to talk about the MV Augusta.
Right, perfect.
We should talk about that fucking bike. Yeah. What the shit?
They've always been kind of like, hey, fuck all you guys, I'm coming out with something hard.
Sunglasses.
You know? So,
Okay, so what was it called?
Oh, you just said, now I can't remember. either.
No. Is it literally called the Harsh?
Hold on.
Wait, is it called the Brash? Bay River Avon Skinheads? Is it like, yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what the hell that they're calling that thing, but it is
I like the Bay River Avon skinheads.
the Bay River Avon Skinheads. It's the old thing there used to have a thing called SHARP, and it was Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice, but that would be SARP.
But they thought they looked pretty sharp.
Well, I
saying
saw
that.
Dunkin' Donuts across the street. They had a sign that said, employees wanted, inquire with -in.
There you go.
Rush.
Nice.
The MV Augusta Rush 1000.
It would have been so much better if it would have been called the Brash.
Yeah.
But it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
It's gnarly.
This bike is just dopey. And I didn't know this, but you could sell advertising space on the back wheel. Not since the Harley Davidson Fat Boy has there been such a gratuitous use of flat on a wheel of a motorcycle. And it is just a flat, but I know that that's not a hubcap, right? No. I know that that's not some carbon fiber zip tied on piece of shit that's going to blow off at 93 miles per hour. I have a feeling that son of a bitch might be cast.
Yeah.
Like that might be some sort of a weird reverse investment casting process or something. It's a kooky motorcycle.
That's an gnarly pipe.
And just when you think that the kooky motorcycle is done at the back tire, you look 12 inches above it and you see that a UFO landed on your taillight.
Yeah.
What the actual shit?
And no pillion is going to ever want to sit on that ever.
That's a glove box.
Hit the picture above it.
The picture above it?
Yeah.
Like that one?
That looks-
that one right there?
that's-
Oh, no, it's cool. 4 pipes. Look at those 4 exhaustuses.
But let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Is that a huge 1000cc motor or a small everything else?
Oh, good point. I bet you it's a small everything else. In the nature of Street Fighters, where we
Yeah.
make everything, it's like this whole thing about like if I wear really, 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 really tiny pants, my dick will look big. And I think that might be the deal behind this motorcycle.
No, that
And my collection of really tiny pants.
It never works.
The tiny pants make your ass look big.
Oh, speaking of tiny pants, did anybody see your latest video that John talks about the worst year of his life when he worked at our shop?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see that yet?
I saw it posted. I didn't actually get
I
to
didn't
watch it or
watch it.
anything.
Oh my!
I found a picture of
what
you
he did to you. Brilliant.
I really didn't. I think
Lieutenant Dangle's got nothing on you. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
I
pretty
found
awesome.
a picture of you when you just got out of
Police
cop
Academy.
school.
Yeah.
Prison.
Yeah, it was a very, very fetching Yeah, and I like the chrome sunglasses. That was nice.
I mean, dude, I'll tell you, I would have done you. You look
Never underestimate Steve's artistic talents.
no.
I
Not
mean,
for nothing, but I'd still fuck me right now.
but to get back to, I didn't realize that it had exhaustuses on both sides.
I know.
Yeah.
So at first I thought it only had the exhaustuses on the right
one
side.
yeah.
But now I see that it's got the 2 on the right and 2 on the left, and then the 70 millimeter cannon in the middle.
It looks cool. I like it.
Wait till the aftermarket gets a hold of it, and there'll be like 75 pipes on it. They'll be like,
No,
you know what you need?
no, because you know what the
more.
aftermarket does?
Oh, they
4-to-1.
Yeah, man.
Assholes. Yeah. We're gonna put a GP pipe on there. Right. Yeah, fucking. GP pipe is just half of a regular pipe.
Right.
Or it's just the first third of a regular pipe.
It costs 3 times as much.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. It's amazing. Oh, look at it. Look at this picture. That tells you how much room there is for a passenger. That tells you right there how much room there is for a passenger.
Yep.
That is just, if he had LED implanted on his butt cheeks,
Yeah.
he could have that stoplight inside of him right now, and that could just be a Bluetooth butt plug. And just when he tightens up real tight, it gets brighter.
Look at the wheelie picture. Okay.
I was looking at that.
Oh, the wheelie picture.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a wheelie picture.
So what you got?
Oh, yeah.
Before you ask somebody to be your pillion, you're like, how do you feel about rock climbing?
No, and second thing, no pegs.
No,
No. Do you know what this is for?
to keep you from sliding off
From
the
a person
tiny
who
seat.
doesn't have just one girl.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's exactly it. This guy needs a school bus. Yeah, yeah. He's going to drive his motorcycle to his girlfriend's house, and then to her friend's house, and then to her friend's house. This is a freak show motorcycle. I mean, this is really a mutant. I mean, this is something you would expect to see in...
And what if if somebody wants one of these, what kind of shekels are we talking?
Oh,
to
I have
bring
no
them home?
fucking idea, dude.
All of them?
You know what? It's like that old Rolls Royce thing if you have to ask.
Yeah.
But I didn't know this, but here we kind of thought, if I were to ask you, how many motorcycles does MV Agusta make? Like, you know, how many different models of motorcycle does MV Agusta actually make? Like, how many versions of an MV Agusta nameplate can you actually buy? Anyone have an idea? Just like a round number, you know? Because, I mean, up until reading this thing today, I thought it might have been 2.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Where are they from?
It would be the Brutale and the not Brutale. Right? Exactly.
7.
It is. Did you cheat?
fucking Google it.
He cheated so hard. Yeah, he cheated so hard. But the good news is, no, and I counted. So for those of you who are interested, the Rush has one. There's one version of Rush. Okay, the Brutale comes in 4 versions. Now we're up to 5. The Dragster comes in 4 versions. Now we're up to 9. The Turismo Veloce comes in 4 versions. Now we're up to 13. The F3 comes in 2 versions, 15. And the Super Veloce comes in 3 versions, 18. Wow. There's 18 different ways to buy a motorcycle they're going to make 19 of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's and I will give you that Super Veloce.
It's a good looking bike.
That's a good looking bike.
How many people left Ducati to work at MV Agusta on those last couple you just
That
showed?
guy.
Yeah.
That guy. What alien science fiction movie did that guy just come off of?
Yeah, right.
Because again, 3 pipes on the right-hand side is dead sexy. Don't get me wrong.
And that front just goes...
Yes. Yeah, that front. So they do have a habit of building just really beautiful motorcycles. I hate to say it, but the F3 kind of looks out of date. But you know,
completely useless information that you spurred from asking that. Mm-hmm. Do you know how they made the Predator noise? They put a taser into a grape, recorded it, and then slowed it down, and that's what makes the...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what
I learned that today.
So they tortured a grape.
They tortured a grape.
Yeah, that's it. You will comply.
Yes.
Quit resisting. Yeah. And the grape died 9.5 minutes later. That's where the noise came from the Predator movie. It's awful. That motorcycle, again, that's a very pretty motorcycle. The Rush, on the other hand, is a very, like, looking at that motorcycle.
It looks like a mech suit, sort of.
It does look like a mech suit. And did you notice the caution tape? So they put caution tape on the motorcycle. I was like, it came pre-caution tape. That's so they can peel that off later and put it around your body. Right. Yeah, you're just like, don't go in there. That's police line. They don't want you breaking into that area.
It kind of looks like, and this is probably just regional, but if you've ever gone by a Titans gym where, like, you know, the steroids flow freely, it looks like a dude leaving Titans gym after, like, working out for 4 hours.
Okay, yeah. What you're trying to say is that bike is completely jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the black color kind of does it. Like the whole honeybee scheme,
yeah.
right, is amazing. And that wheel is one-sided. That is a single-sided wheel. That I do not think that is a hubcap at all. That is truly, that wheel only exists on one side. You know, hence the old single-sided swing arm business. But yeah, that's a decadent, insane-looking motorcycle. It makes me want to commit crimes.
So that's gonna compete with what, Duvali or whatever, the Ducati.
The DFL?
DeVal,
No,
yeah.
DFL is basically for old men that got off a Harley Davidson because it was too slow. Every single person who rides a DFL into my shop is completely in the Geritol for lunch bunch. Like, it's like, I want a cruiser, but I have more money than you. So I'm going to buy a DFL. And that's what they show up on. They show up on a DFL with a giant flat spot down the middle of the tire.
All right, well then what about the Rocket? So the Triumph Rocket, who buys that?
That's a guy who drinks tea. Same guy, drinks tea. Yeah. Same fucking guy, though. I mean, legit. Yeah, this thing is fierce, and I can tell you by looking at it, it's going to last like 9 weeks.
Sure.
So it's starting at 38,000 euros.
So $42,000.
Yeah, well, there's a weird thing that happens for you guys who aren't in the motorcycle industry. When a motorcycle launches in England for 10,000 pounds,
yeah.
when they sell it in America, it's $10,000. It's like the exchange rate forgot to happen.
Gotcha.
And when a motorcycle gets launched in Europe for 40,000 euros, it sells in America for $40,000. It's like the exchange rate forgot to happen. And I don't know how they can do it other than it's what they call OTR, on the road. So I think a lot of things in Europe, when they're advertising the pricing of bike, there's a certain taxing structure and
MOT
charges
and all that.
that are on the bike, right?
Gotcha.
Exactly. Whereas in America, we are exempt from all those things because like we're not getting charged a 15% MOT or whatever it is. And if
So it
our listeners,
compensates for all the...
yeah, and listeners, by the way, if you're out there and you know the way that actually works, feel free to let us know because I've never bought a bike overseas. That
Yeah, we're
wasn't-
just making it up as we go
Totally.
along anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that very well because I oftentimes get people in here from other countries and they're like, "Oh, I could save a bunch of money and buy it in my own country." And then I have the internet. So I'm like, "Oh, really? Can you?" And I look it up and I'm like, "No, you can't. It's actually cheaper to buy the Italian motorcycle here." Right. We found that out with Moto Guzzis. The Moto Guzzis were about $2,000 to $3,000 cheaper to buy here than in the city that builds them.
Yeah.
That gotta make you feel real bad. I mean, like, you know, take your Moto Guzzi from here, ship it over to Italy, and sell it there, and have enough money to pay for the airfare both ways.
They're even cheaper down in Brunswick,
Yeah,
too,
they
I'll
are.
tell you that.
Yeah, they fucking sure are. Yeah, the deal of the century on the 1400 for sure. So anyway, that's that. Again, that's the MV Agusta Rush. So very exciting, super cool. I think it has the display off of a Zero.
Zero,
It
yeah.
kind of looks like a lot like the Zero dashboard.
I think a lot of
Probably looks like the Aprilia dashboard too.
and the KTMs all have that now.
Yeah.
And
I think it's all built by the same dude or company that were. So that's cool. Anybody else have any brand new acquisitions this week? Anybody buy anything we need to know about?
Nope.
I can't talk about it.
What?
Wait a second.
Well, then don't talk about
so
it.
last time you had the
Mr.
Z900
Teaser
RS
over there.
and blew
Yeah.
everybody's doors off,
So
right?
I took that completely apart. That's disassembled right now.
What the fuck, dude?
So
What are you doing to it?
So-
It's a pristine
no,
bike.
I'm not changing
He's
much.
not a tweaker or anything. No,
No,
he just
no.
takes things apart for fun.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna cafe race.
no. So I
Give the
did.
Cafe Racer a bike. It's already a Cafe Racer.
No, I did get. I'm getting the ECU flash. It's getting done and sent back right now. So
And ape hangers. You order the ape hangers. Right? Okay.
No, but the ECU flash takes away the engine braking, takes
Yeah.
away the speed limit, lowers the fan by 20 degrees so it kicks on earlier. It just it completely remaps the fuel for. It takes away all the emissions bullshit on it and stuff like that. And then so I bought the cheapest, but everybody said it's really good. The header, the Delkevic
Thank you,
header.
John.
I'm keeping the stock can, so it still has all the plumbing, but it gets rid of the big catalytic converter and all that. So that's a part in that.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
And then I got a call.
Wait a
and-
second. Witness. Rewind. Play. This bike's perfect just the way it is. I don't think I'm going to do anything to it.
It is. It's
I don't
no.
think I'm going to change anything on the
I'm
bike.
putting it back.
It's totally fine.
No,
You
I-
did say
You know what?
that
I'm not going
last
to change
week.
the exhaust. I'm not going to change
this
This
anything.
bike
not.
is
It's
perfect, man. I fucking love this
It
bike.
is,
Four
but it just
fucking
needed,
days.
it needed a tweak. It needed. I took it for a long ride Sunday, and I got to know it really, really well.
Okay.
I found out that when you shut traction control off, it wheelies really easily.
Yeah. Can confirm.
This
Yeah.
guy was doing 30 and a 35, and I got mad and I passed him, and the bike was like, whoa! I was like, all right, ride it out, fuck
Yeah.
it. But I didn't like the engine braking, and everybody said that it's just because of the emissions. The bike is totally cool, but so these guys flash it. It's you pay right now. They have a sale. It's $200.
You didn't like too much engine braking, or you didn't like not enough?
No, too much. When you
It
roll
is true.
off.
When I dropped a gear in it, it was like dropping an anchor.
Yeah,
So
it was-
wouldn't let the revs. And it has a slipper clutch in it.
Yeah.
Which is what was really weird because when I dropped a gear in it, third to second, it was so violent and just a downshift that it had to use the slipper clutch on a straight fucking downshift. And I was like, that's excessive.
So everybody, because you got to join the forum after you buy the bike. So, but everybody there, like,
Got to buy the Manscaped T-shirt and the checkers shorts and everything.
No, but there was good information. It was like this is not big enough yet where there's a bunch of douche nozzles that are just blowing smoke. Like there's guys there, and then the guys from Two Wheel
At
Dyno
least one
Tuning.
douche nozzle blown.
They have over 100,000 dyno runs and tunes on a bunch of different, but they know what they're doing. They're good. So
Oh, wait, you had to strip it down to get to it?
yeah, a little bit of taking it apart to get to it.
How much did you take apart?
Just the tail. They had tanks, everything's still there.
And yeah.
And
No, that was
and the
yeah.
exhaust.
Well, yeah, no, the exhaust is off.
And
And then I took the rear wheel off and checked everything, and I'm putting that back to make it perfectly straight and the chain tension perfect, and
He took the gas tank off. Now he needs 3 broken quick
Yeah.
disconnects.
no.
Yeah.
What color are you painting it?
No,
Yeah.
it's perfect that regard.
same color as the zip ties he's got.
So, but no, it's going to be awesome. This next week, I'll bring it next week.
And so then all I got to get now is just that license plate eliminator, right?
Not like it. I'm
license
leaving
plate
it.
eliminator kit?
What do you think? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's swing arm just a little bit longer?
No.
Okay, all right. Just checking.
2 wheels in the back?
Give it 4 more days. Give it 4 more
Picture
days.
was
I'm going to
crazy.
do a jack
And a
shaft with a
sidecar.
350
Dark
on
side.
the back.
Yeah,
Make it
dark
all,
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
So,
Totally.
but on Sunday, I did get to rip it all over the place, and that thing is a scalpel. It is really good, man. I kind of hate my other bikes now, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean,
Well, your other bikes hate you.
Yeah. Well,
they weren't happy to see that bike show up.
No.
Yeah. They
They're
didn't-
trying to talk you into a sidecar for that thing.
Exactly. Do you know what? Late at night, these motorcycles are just whispering, Watsonian,
Yeah.
Watsonian. Yes, you too can buy a lot of expensive sidecar. So, but yeah, super fun, super cool. Yeah. AMA Vintage Days, it's a go, guys.
Yep.
If you ain't bought your tickets yet, we talked about last week some of the motorcycles and misfits crews coming up. It just keeps getting bigger. So we're gonna be just adding more shit to the parade of bad ideas that is the Cleveland Moto Roadshow. Yeah, we're gonna roll out, probably get into there Thursday, and get ourselves set up Thursday early for anybody who wants to. So
Will we have any guests?
anybody's fucking welcome, dude. You're coming down to AMA Vintage Days. It is madness. They are going to let you buy tickets at the gate now, but there will be a $10 penalty, or you'll have to look at the hairiest guy there's butthole. They said it's either or. They said it's a bit of a thing. You could have the regular admission price and look at the guy's butt, or you could. But again, great opportunity for Manscaped.
So what do you think with two with basically 2 seasons of these collector guys collecting? You think the swap shop's going to be insane?
Yes. So I know it will be in my area code. So I had an idea. Actually, Oscar had an idea while we were standing outside smoking cigarettes earlier. We said you should bring the camera because you're going to bring the camera anyway.
Yeah, many.
But we're going to have our swap meet spot, and I'm just going to line it up with all the shit that we moved from the warehouse because Chris has been to the warehouse and stuff, and the warehouse is fucking scary. So we're going to take all these fucking orphan children we have in the warehouse, and we're going to have it be like, Price is Right situation. And you'll have the camera.
Okay.
So the second anybody shows any fucking interest at all in any of the bikes we have there, it's like we just latch them in, right?
Earl, come on down.
I thought about something too. What about, because they're cheap enough now, and you have 12-volt batteries, get a Ring doorbell. And put it there so when you see people come up, you can be like, hey, how you doing? What are you interested in? I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Sorry, sir, we're by appointment only.
I have 2 of those. We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, wouldn't that be cool? Like,
But the idea being... that
Here's a tall glass of brown liquor. First, get started with that.
Get in the mood, right? But I did think it would be kind of a fun thing to just be like, okay, and then just go for it. And play Price is Right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you seem to be interested in that bike. You're showing us all the signs. You peed a little on the ground next to it. You know, you licked your hand and then touched it.
You're wearing the shirt with the bike on it.
Yes. You've whispered things in its direction. Yeah, you've whistled as though to seem nonchalant.
Seika 2 Club since '86.
Exactly. But then we'll kind of play a game where we just kind of be like, oh, so I see you're looking at the 2006 Grand Vista. Honestly. That bike is a piece of shit, but that bike is an amazing piece of shit.
Yeah.
That bike has easily 200,000 miles left in it. But it's awful to look at. Like, it hurts you when you see your buddy looking at it. You feel bad for them. It's an ugly fucking bike. And then the seat on top of the bike is another fucking sex crime. Because it's like somebody said, the bike's not high enough. We should make the seat so only like a NBA star could get on it. And then they bifurcated it so that the passenger and the driver would never have to rub, ever.
You know, like how they had the old, like where it was like a barrel that they turned into a seat?
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
It does. It feels like you're actually being held in the front riding position by a giant, incredible Hulk hand. And it's just holding you there. But then if you decided you wanted to just shift your position at all, you can't do that.
Yeah.
No way. And the person on the back just slides right off the bike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but it's an awful seat. But the bike is hard as nails. But you can also only turn right due to a collision it was in. So it turns right like a monster, but it doesn't turn left for a fuck. The good news, though, if you play Mid-Ohio right, you'll just make right turns until the end of the night. You're back at the campsite. Seems really smart to me. Just put a trailer on it. And
right.
Do all your friends work for them.
It'd be great.
Yeah, just kind of cruise control right turns. But there are going to be some real fucking problem children that we're going to bring. But then if we see somebody looking at it, we can then ask them what they would pay.
Yeah.
And then I think that we should be assessing a penalty.
To them?
First of all, offer them a free T-shirt if they can get it started.
That's another thing was we got to bring that back because the free T-shirt to get a bike started was epic, and we should do that again.
You know, and this would be really interesting. You'd have like some sheets laid over, right? Mm-hmm. And if the guy comes up and offers, and you're like, okay, you're offering me within 5 minutes, so this is your price,
right? Yes.
If it's like if it takes 10 minutes, then you lift that one.
If they're trying to slow play you,
yeah,
right? Yeah. And then we could just like have a little. Just somebody standing watching you or somebody in the background, just realizing, oh, that guy's been there for a while. Bing. What was that? Price just went up $40.
Shit.
What the fuck are you talking about? Well, you've been standing there jacking your jaw so long.
Right.
You know, trying to tell me about motorcycles you saw in the 50s.
I've been waiting 2 years to be here and drink.
Yeah. You've been slow playing me.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, what we need to have is a bit of a drive-by.
Dude, Mid-Ohio time is $90 an hour, minimum of your time.
What's it costing me to be there?
Right.
Right, exactly. So for real.
He'll just say, Lois, get over here and talk this guy down again.
Take your teeth out.
Yeah. Wow, that's a whole new world there.
It's Mid-Ohio. Shit gets weird. Yet I'm the only person that has a picture of me laying on the ground with a naked guy, my face spray painted silver. And I'm saying it gets weird there. Yeah.
Valhalla.
Witness me! Yeah. We're going to bring some more of that fucking shit back because that was fun. I didn't realize until the next morning what an asshole I was until I woke up and looked in the mirror and my face looked back at the mirror. Yeah. This is some
It'll be fine.
Ouroboros thing going on. This is fucking wild. But anyway, so that's happening. And they have a podcast. I did listen that the AMA recorded a bit of a podcast last
I
year.
heard this. Yeah. What'd you think?
Well, we are going to fix that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, ClevelandMoto has a tendency to fix other people's podcasts. And since Misfits will be there and we'll be there, we can fix that.
Right.
I think I just grabbed a beer out of the fridge. It's from the last Mid-Ohio.
I think you're right. Did it have mud under the cap that smelled like dung?
It's got rusty. And
it's rusty.
Smells like turpentine.
Every bad beer in distill, it tastes like Heineken probably at that point.
Oh, yeah. There's only so far a beer can go bad, and then it just becomes Heineken. Was that you? You need a handkerchief? Yeah. It sounded wet.
It's okay.
Hey, do you know what Mid-Ohio has this
Most
weekend?
people say that about my farts.
Hey, mine.
You ever see the stuff from Australia, the stadium trucks on cement? Mm-hmm. They have that at Mid-Ohio this weekend.
Get out of here.
No. I was thinking about taking a ride down, but
Duncan?
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. This is
well
pretty
done.
good. Yeah.
This is not even bad. This isn't even bad. This isn't even awful. As a person that has not qualified to make this statement, this is wonderfully drinkable.
Dan, what
do you think?
What notes are you getting out of it?
It's got like 10 times more flavor than any other Canadian whiskey I've ever tasted.
Yes.
But has it been on a boat?
That makes it better.
I've actually gone on Craigslist, like doing searches for decanters and stuff like that, like trying to find somebody just unloading some old vintage bottles of stuff. That's hard to find.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You got guys like Dan that do that as a. There's guys like every vintage guy that's like KZ 100 or KZ 1,000, $500. Then you click it and it's like buying used bikes, and you want to stab them. You're like, you fucker. I think
Every
it's like
damn
50
time.
of those ads everywhere. Yeah.
Bait and switch.
Clickbait.
Oh,
I do know that a lot of people thought that they were going to make a lot of money on the decanters, and it was going to be big money to have those ancient decanters. And I had looked up the ones from 1969, like the Lionstone whiskey decanters that were very popular among
Wild Turkey. We had all the wild. My buddy's father always bought all the Wild Turkey ones, and we steamed off the steels. None of them are worth a shit. They're all fucked.
they're half water. Because in high school you guys were chugging.
Well, the good news is I did find, to tell you how valuable these things are, to tell you just what a gold mine you've stumbled onto if you have these.
Are these the Beanie Babies of the 60s?
These are the Beanie Babies of the 1969 era. So it is, in fact, the entire goddamn set for $260. So the shipping would be worth more than your memories. So that is indeed.
But if they're full and they
of it
still
is
have the
shipping.
seal on them, it might be worth drinking.
Well, like I said, I was telling these guys when my dad fucked off, this one here, I drank this guy. So I'll see if you can.
Cinch, does that look like somebody shot that in their bathroom?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, that is
up against the shower curtain.
Yeah, that is. So yeah, that dude right there. You see that guy right there with the little stars on his
bucket.
tan gauntlets?
Yep.
I drank him. Yeah.
So, Dan, do you think those are porcelain, right? Probably. Like, wouldn't they? The porcelain's porous. So, like, wouldn't the alcohol kind of seep through after?
No. It would be glazed.
Fired. Yeah, it's
glazed.
glazed.
Yeah, it would be glazed.
Yeah, for
They're not going to put the booze and stuff where it
I
just leaks out.
But I'm saying, like, I didn't know, like, after 50 years or 60 years, if it's going to not seep
Just
into
see how they
it.
got them all lined up there. And what I realize now is my dad really, sold us short. But the problem is, John and I, we see them lined up there like that, and we only do one thing.
Shoot them.
BB gun.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm seeing for that, we might have to break out the Crossman 1022 for that. We might need more than one pump. Yeah. And that's even got a bit of a backstop there, too. So, yeah.
A woodsman's mouth is drooling right now.
Yeah, Woodsman right now is really, if you got a buck mark, it's hating that. There's a whole box of 22es that's
That guy's
dying to be
looking at me
discharged in
funny
that
right
direction.
there. That one right there.
Yeah, that would be,
Fuck him up.
that would just be hilarious. So, yeah, we are.
My Russian accent's about ready to come out.
It kind of. Well, yeah.
Honestly, we are children. Because you line it up like that, and we're just like, we have to destroy that. That's just it.
Well, it only costs you $260 to get them, and then
Well, but then you see the thing.
then you have to videotape, and everybody gets pissed off at you.
You shoot the video, and you make back the $260 on the video. Just like our most profitable video has been the one where I told people to go fuck their KZ 900s, and fuck their KZ 1000s that I didn't have time in my life for them anymore.
Well, look at that guy, the whistling diesel dude.
The guy who's systematically killing a Toyota Hilux.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna see him in a corner someday.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm gonna find out where the man drinks.
But he made a whole career.
And I'm gonna run him over with.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But you know what? To his
unfucking stoppable.
To his stupidity, whatever. He did prove that the fucker is unbelievable. Like,
oh no, he did everything that Top Gear did. He just did it again.
But like without
and he
all
sacrificed
the
a
trickery.
prettier truck.
Yeah, that was
so
sad.
the downside is Jeremy Clarkson did it once.
Right.
Did it empirically as the standard by which everything else shall be measured. Right. And then he came out and just did it with a perfect truck.
Yeah.
So he didn't prove anything we didn't already know other than he can ruin a perfectly good truck.
Well, that's his shtick.
Again, someday.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll pay.
Someday. Be like, why are you welding those eye-rings to my body? Because things are going to happen to you.
Right. Yeah. Well, and this whole premise, like,
it's going to get really interesting.
And like, I get it. Like, materialism doesn't matter, and you shouldn't be like attached to your shit. But at the same time, there's one Mona Lisa. You don't want to fuck that up. I don't care if you go to a flea market and you fucking cut up a bunch of shit, paintings or something. But
So I was listening to the radio, and it was this whole notion that like an adult ape might actually be worth more than a human. So are you trying to say that Hilux might be worth more than even him?
It might be worth more than him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also, it's one of those
We
things.
care
is
more about the
We
truck
can
than we
judge
care about
him by
him.
the value of his character, by what he does for viewership. And of course, though, in order to witness the spectacle, you have to view.
Right.
And the good news is that internet dollars actually don't come by that easy. So it takes a whole lot of eyeballs to equal $1.
In this world, we have lots of humans. We don't have enough Hiluxes.
That's true. I completely agree with that.
But
And as
I-
a guy who's owned all the new ones, I'll tell you that the old
Humans?
ones were better. Hold on.
Do you know what I was really impressed with though? Is that
FBI.
he put 38,000 pounds onto a trailer.
Yeah.
And then attached, a fifth wheel thing, and it pulled it no problem.
I have a
I
Toyota.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I
That
have a
was
Toyota
crazy.
Tundra. It pulled the fucking space shuttle in California, and they were like, just so you know, we're not rigging it. This is just an out of the dealership Toyota Tundra, and there's the out of the dealership space shuttle.
In neutral.
And next thing you know, they did. They said like, hey, let go of the parking brake, asshole. You know? Yeah. They towed it across, L.A., as a stunt, obviously.
Right.
But just the same, Toyota's always made a good truck. We're not doubting that. But again, if you want to murder 10,000 brand new Tundras or brand new Tacomas, that's what we have wars in the Middle East for, But you don't take a perfectly good 30-year-old one.
No.
And be like, yeah, we're just going to fuck this one up for the hell of it, for posterity's sake.
It didn't even have a stain.
No, it didn't.
was so
It was
nice,
like,
man.
there were so many bad decisions that needed to be made. No, strike that. There were so many memories that truck could make for somebody
Yep.
that was all just erased.
Yep.
So instead, it gets to be perfect and then die in 2 episodes of some dickhead's video.
Yeah.
How far did he take it, though? I mean, is it actually dead? I mean,
Oh,
was
he
it-
rolled it. He slammed the door 2,000 times until the window broke.
Yeah.
He
Okay,
tried.
so that's not too bad.
Again, right, exactly.
The next week
Fuck a
he's
CC.
dropping it from a 75-foot tower to see if it'll survive a drop.
Okay. So, I mean, probably still got a good motor and everything.
No, because he ran it without oil for 35 miles to see if it would run without oil.
Oh, fuck him.
Yeah.
At this point, honestly, it's like a child that tortures an animal.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
child that takes a perfectly good animal and tortures it.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about that guy as I feel about children who torture animals.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like the kid that holds the magnifying glass over the ants.
Yes,
Yep,
Yeah.
that's
100%.
exactly it. That's exactly right. When any normal kid would just stamp on the fuckers. Yeah, that's it. Right.
So look,
We understand the concept about magnifying glasses and heat and fire and everything else. Once you do it one time,
you feel bad.
if you do it again, you're the special kid. Like that's still fascinating.
You're the school psycho.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So hey, the guests
Okay,
that
so
came
I'm feeling
today.
a little hurt right now.
You go over to John's house, you pick up his magnifying glass that says only for burning ants.
It's a couple thousand tick marks.
Got another one.
Mine too. Mine's the same one.
So these guys drove all the way up. The Chris Smith 2,
Yes.
his son.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this Sunday we had a little outing.
Yep.
And they might relate to that and have some stories
Okay.
that
Yeah,
can go
yeah,
along with
yeah,
that. So
right.
like we all beat the hell out of each other on the SSRs again.
Yeah.
Oscar plied us with his amazing painkillers, which enabled us to do things that we probably shouldn't have been
The
doing
most
on the bike.
delicious painkiller I have drunk in the shadow of a
Level
wastewater
7,
treatment plant.
Did I hear?
It was level 7 or 8. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we were level 8s by the time we were emptying her out there. Yeah, they were
I was
strong.
in bliss. I had Oscar all to myself for a whole evening.
Yeah, the first day we almost.
He's making painkiller level 7s for us. It was like, what happened there? I'm like,
Yeah, we almost went through the one bottle, just the two of us.
Yeah.
At the first night.
Almost.
Nice.
and that was
Almost.
like, but that was only 2 painkillers apiece.
Yeah, it was 2 painkillers.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It should have been paint thinners, but
They were drinking those mind
taste
erasers.
like it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were drinking those mind erasers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was no pain after that.
no.
Oh, no.
no,
And then Duncan, you ran into on the DGR
DGR.
rally. The
He has a
only
GS 850 as
he
well.
was the only one riding a bike with a windjammer.
Yeah.
A Vetter, right? You got a Vetter on
It
yours?
wasn't on it then because I thought that was a reason of overheating and bullshit. So I took it off, and about 2 days later,
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to him. I was like, "Oh, I think it's got a little bit too much oil in it. That might be a problem." He's like, "Yeah, you should check that." I took it out. I bought a 7-quart catch can.
Yeah.
It filled it to the brim onto the floor.
Wait, hold on, Logan. Turn the mic up. It's not a forward. It's in the front. So there you go.
Oh yeah, much better. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, he'll just tilt it up for you just a spot.
And that bike, it's only supposed to have a little over 3.
Right, it's 3-quart bike. Yeah,
plus the filter, and
Yeah.
I have no idea how it was still running. It filled the crankcase, and it was.
Do you think it might have been gas?
I was gonna say, is there?
Oh no, it was thick and soupy.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. Well, I bought it and I rode it back about 80 miles. I don't have a trailer
Right.
truck thing to haul it. And, I probably pulled over on the side of the highway about 8-9 times because it was puking oil out, right into the air box.
Out of the breather.
Yeah, and blowing, big fucking plumes of smoke out the back. And, let it sit for a minute, it comes out of the drain pipe, covers the exhaust, not oil. 5 minutes later, you're good to go. Make another 10 miles.
You don't have to worry about it rusting.
No.
It's good.
I'd say those valves are probably unstuck. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, everything that's pressure based on that machine has been tested. Yeah. Convince yourself if it didn't push the seals out of that motor, you're good to go.
That's 20,000 miles.
No problem. You took 3 quarts, 4 quarts all out of that bike, and the bike just went, ooh.
Top speed increased by 90 miles.
Oh, yeah.
I feel 10 pounds lighter.
Exactly. Yes. And it was the first time the exhaust could breathe ever in its life. Yeah. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. That's saying something. So 7+ quarts.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. That's a lot of oil. Yeah. It's like in Mad Max, he'd have been the savior.
Yeah.
Because he brought all that extra oil for all the other guys.
Like, here, take it.
So here's how we're going to do it. Carrying oil is really hard.
Yeah.
But if we put an extra 3 quarts in each one of our motorcycles,
Nobody will know.
we'll be good.
And at the end of the day, it's better than no oil.
Oh, it's absolutely better than no oil. Yep. And 6 quarts of oil is bound to last longer than 3 quarts of oil, right? So
the economy.
You only need to do an oil change every half as often.
Right.
My mileage went down to 4, but it's okay.
Oh, it was already bad.
It was already.
I'm getting like 30.
Well, you know what, though? In the spirit of Suzuki, you did kind of build a 2-stroke. So it's like, ultimately, you were using just as much oil as anybody that would have had a water buffalo or anything else. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, there is a reason that the 850s have like a 72-gallon gas tank.
Yes,
because they don't get
good mileage.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah. They were refined in many, many ways. Fuel economy was not one of them.
one.
Yeah. How a motorcycle with that much gas could only go 120 miles before you hit reserve is beyond me.
You have a shaft drive. You have all the things. It weighs 9,000 pounds.
Yes, you
add
do.
all that together.
Well, it's also had the aerodynamic profile of a chip wagon. I mean, that thing. I have seen Chevy P step vans that are way more aerodynamic than a Suzuki 850.
Yeah,
That's
true.
There's parts of that bike that are actually anti.
Right. It's a square body.
Edges the air.
Edges the air. It's like an old Winnebago. Yeah. Where are we going to put all this air? Eventually, it'll go under us.
And it is heavy enough that, people say, "Oh, that bike's a boat anchor." It literally, some boats have used them.
Oh yeah,
large ships
absolutely
have used them as boat anchors.
Right.
So.
Well, you just see the big enough Harley Davidson pull in and he just chains itself to the Suzuki. Because nobody's going to risk getting a Suzuki 850 for stealing a Harley.
No.
Fuck no. You know what? We can steal that Harley right there, but you got to come home on the Suzuki real close to me. Fuck no, dude. No way. There's no way I'm bringing that in my
you
garage.
got to be a weirdo. That
But it's having great motors and honestly great motorcycles.
Yeah, no, that's a good bike.
We fucking kid, but
they're smooth as shit. To this day, I like my Kawasaki now better, but that is still a smooth bike. Very smooth.
Yeah, Kawasaki's not together though.
He's just got to finish dialing it in. That's all. He's just,
nine more months of fiddle farting around,
and then you tear it apart.
Even more succulent than before. Yeah. It's just going to get better and fucking better. So yeah, we went out on Sunday and we rode the piss out of our little SSR 125s, and it is astonishing that they haven't broken yet.
No.
I have no excuse for why these motorcycles haven't broken. We've changed the oil, we've adjusted the chain.
We are doing smoother. I can't believe it. When I adjusted the chain this last time, it's like a new bike. It's like a Honda.
It's crazy.
No,
how are you guys doing with yours?
That's a level 7 painkiller talking over there.
Got 3 of the 125s, 2 of the 70s.
Yeah.
The first day out, I bury a damn 70 in a culvert that I couldn't see, haul assing across the field. I'm blowing along.
So now you're calling it the not so Grand Canyon?
My God. So I've done that. The white one, I took over a wash and
you're not a 93-pound fella.
No.
And those bikes are rated for 68 pounds or something.
Yeah. I bunny hopped them. They do great.
They're meant for people like less than half his size.
Yeah, it's exactly
more than less. Yeah.
When you got here, you were telling us you had some adventures and some of your buddies and stuff. Maybe have less limbs or something now, or
so everybody's the granddad has ridden them. I inherited kids. I still have all the inherited kids.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they all still work.
Yeah, they all still work.
So the program of reducing the cost of college by giving them mini bikes hasn't paid off yet.
No slings or braces or anything? Or?
Well, hold on.
Yes, there's one. But it's not a kid. It's one of my buddies.
That doesn't count. True.
Yeah. So we're, second time I brought him out for the old guys. And one of my buddies tries to do a wheelie, and the other buddy sees, Les sees Kelly do it, and Les follows along.
I'll show you.
So Les loops one out. Keeps 1 foot on the bike, 1 foot hits the ground, and sideways. So it just peels his knee apart.
Yeah.
MCL, ACL, just everything's gone in his knee. So that's the only casualty so far.
Sounds like he deserved it.
Those bikes.
Oh, man.
So would his have like the extended rear swing arm like ours kind of have?
Yeah.
So they're a little difficult. They don't really want to wheelie.
No, there's no damn balance point.
Yeah.
We've all found that out. Every single one of them. Like everybody in our group that is like, I'm pretty handy wheeling a bike.
Right.
I can pretty much wheelie anything. I go out. I can wheelie these buddy scooters, these 125cc buddy scooters, put a nice little parking lot wheelie out on a bike with an automatic transmission, whatever. It's fine. And I go out there, and even after like 3 or 4 sessions, 10, 20 laps, and be like, I know
2
this
painkillers.
I got this, 3 or 4 painkillers. Right. And I'm like, I'm wearing a helmet. I can just do anything now. And then
here we go.
Just wick it up and go for it. And I'm like, I did the same thing. Stand on the pegs. So I stand on the pegs, get my ass back off the bike, and then let the clutch out. And you can wheelie it, but you can't ride it.
Right.
It's just a chaos. It's just like...
And second gear would be like the motor,
Yeah.
dropping it, the clutch in second gear brings that front wheel perfectly up. You have the right RPMs, the right torque.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh shit. But there's no...
There is no sweet spot.
There's no sweet spot
No.
in second.
No.
But, let's see, we've had them out quite a few times.
Yeah.
Big ass farm. We can actually get the 125s to full chat.
Oh, you can get them to 4th gear and go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you hit on it?
I've hit 50.
Yeah. And I was on 45, and again, I'm not a slender reed.
And also, but that's impressive. Guys are like, oh, wow, 50 miles an hour. But it's geared so low. Like, you also have the low-end grunt.
Yeah.
So 50, that's pretty impressive.
I had the one bike. I started Steve's bike in the shop.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I started it up or something. I kicked it in gear. And I quickly grabbed the front brake, and I looked down, and the back wheel's just going.
The thing turned into a farm implement. It wouldn't stall.
We've actually used them. We herded cattle with them.
Get the fuck
So
out of
they paid for themselves the first night I had them out.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, they did.
We had we're bringing them in.
Yeah, we're
And
bringing
some of
them
them
in
wouldn't
to
come
feed
in,
them
so
all.
we
How many cows are we talking?
got like 20, 30 head.
I don't know.
Okay, if you say head, then that means it's cattle now, right? So now we can say cattle at that point.
Yeah,
right?
it's cattle.
Yeah, that's amazing. So 30 live animals are out there, and you're rounding them up with SSRs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got the nice loud pipe and
Yeah,
everything.
It's fantastic.
Little
We
brap.
need video of this.
Amazing.
So every time I've been out, you have some GoPro.
Yeah, we have some
like,
GoPro stuff
chest-
on it.
Yeah.
GoPro
Chest,
stuff, but
helmet mounts.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
we got I don't know.
Probably at least 3-4 hours of footage.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
the
just
guys at
tear
SSR would love that shit.
Yeah, and again, so the one mine,
Yeah.
the white one. One of the older boys, taught him how to ride a bike.
Right.
He can't figure out how to get the damn thing out of first gear.
Oh, okay.
And again, this is
Yeah.
we're getting ours up to 40, 50 miles an hour.
All the room in the world.
And he's running with us in first gear.
first gear.
Oh my God. So at some point, I know I'm going to have to rebuild the white one.
Well, of course you are.
Yeah. See, he has the problem getting out of first gear. I have the problem getting into
first gear, right? Yeah.
So it's gotten to the point where I've become way too impatient.
Yeah.
Because every time I'll kill the bike.
Right.
Yep.
So I just I throw
Kick
it
it and dump
and
the clutch.
Yeah.
dump the clutch and go.
Yeah, and go.
And I go.
Yeah. The first gear on them is crisis low.
Yeah.
So we found that on the area where we're riding is not even 3 acres. I don't know how big is that, John. It's pretty small.
It's 3 acres.
It's 3 acres, yeah. And we've cut a really nice course, so we've made a really nice course out of it, and we've got some more challenging spots and some not so challenging spots.
Well, it got better when Steve pulled the giant roll of
concertina wire.
Yeah, barbed wire. Like there was a corner where we almost always crashed.
Yeah.
Right? And it was grass, tall grass.
Yeah.
We
didn't know that in the middle
there was
of
this full spool of barbed wire just sitting in the grass. So it makes sense.
God.
Rusty
Keeps the cattle out.
rusty ass barbed wire hanging out in the middle of a turn.
I'm using the zero turn, and it like cuts about half of the grass.
Yeah.
I'm like, Then Steve's like, I hit the fucking. I'm like, well, what else?
You hit a fucking 80-pound roll of barbed wire, it's going to make a noise.
I think we need to sharpen the blades on that.
Yeah, you might have to. But it's hilarious that
I was riding around like a tractor. Steve's at work, and I was like, all right, there's a hill there. I'm a big guy. I'm just going to sit on it, and I'm first gear.
Right.
I'm almost not going to give it any gas and just see if it'll take me up this hill. No problem.
No.
Go up a hill, turn around, go back down. Like any little thing you want, like it'll just chug up anything. I'm not even giving it gas. Just give it just enough to keep it going. It'll just be like. Burp, burp, burp.
I'm doing berm shots now in third.
Right.
So it's the weirdest thing is like I was down. In the course of our circuit that we made, I was pretty much very comfortable doing it in 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3. And so it's like 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. And I was like, God, I'm just killing myself here. And I'd like to get my left foot out a lot more. So maybe if I just fucking left it in 3. And I tried the leaving it in 2 thing, but I could like my brain was not cool with the noises the bike was making. So I was like, it's a single and its piston doesn't even go up. It goes forward. And I was like, yeah, this motor's not built for a ton.
But that makes you go faster
every time it goes forward. Exactly. Well, it just keeps moving the bike forward.
And they don't have, when we were doing the 20-foot drags that turned into 70-foot drags that turned into hitting stuff.
Don't hit the boat.
Yeah, right. I don't think I shifted, and I don't think it ever hit the red line. I don't think it ever...
There is no rev limiter.
Yeah,
no, it's just valve float. That's rev limiter.
Yeah.
But no kidding. I did figure out that third gear and leaving it in third gear, and then just dumping the clutch on the berm shot. So when we get into that turn 1, that is just so dug out perfectly now that I can stab the bike into it where I would normally be downshifting to 2. I'm not. I'm leaving it in third. I'm just saving a little energy and then dropping the clutch on it like a madman, and the bike just. How the fuck does it dig out of third gear?
I don't know, but you know what else?
I've had big motorcycles that don't dig out of third gear.
It was nuts, but we also learned this week, well, at least I did, I put 2 bars of air. I don't know, the
28 pounds.
20,
well, the company recommends 22.
28 works. It works better. I like 28.
Yeah. So, I mean, the company recommends 22 PSI in the tires. Yeah. So, season to taste, air pressure.
I think I want to air mine up a little bit because I had some of what you were talking about. It just feels like you almost have a flat tire or something.
Yeah, no, you get that.
I think 22 PSI is great for a dude that's not us.
You mean for a kid?
Our friend Bagel,
Oscar would do great with.
Our friend Bagel has the thing about air pressure because he did the cannonball so many times on a scooter, on a Vespa. And he knows, like he's himself, what he weighs plus his gear plus his cargo. And he knows that it's like, okay, so the manufacturer's recommended air pressure for that tire, that 12-inch tire, is this. But he's carrying X amount of load on top of it. So actually, he's not going to run the 29 that it asks for in the front. He's going to run 34. Or
65.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So he's done the math to figure out what that is. And of course, yes, air pressure is, it took me about a month of running on a track before somebody was nice enough to tell me, hey, dipshit, you're not actually supposed to have 36 pounds of air in your tire. And I was like, well, that's what it says on the sticker on the side of the bike. And he's like, you're on a racetrack. Like, we're doing all kinds of shit you're not supposed to do on the street here. Get that down to about 28 and you won't crash as much.
Right.
And I was like, hey, guess what? I'm not crashing as much.
You increased your contact.
I increased my contact patch and everything got better, right? Yeah. I grabbed my front brake and there actually generates heat and traction as opposed to brown underwear.
Skidding. It's like skidding in all senses.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. That's it. Where the fuck am I? I don't even think I'm on the track anymore. They're not supposed to be corn in turn 1.
If SSR builds a 125 quad runner, I will buy one.
They build all kinds of quads.
I don't think they have a 125.
I don't know. Let's look it up. I mean, I will tell you the way we act around here at the shop. It's hilarious. But I had a kid come in today that had been through he'd had the Apollo, version of it, and he's like, he spent a lot of money building his Apollo dirt bike, pit bike, up to be perfect. And he's like, yeah, I borrowed a friend of mine's SSR 125, and stock out of the box, it's way better than the Apollo I put like $2,000 into. So I was like, oh, that's good to hear. I like that.
Well, that's when I was when I had the Chinese Grom. I didn't intend to do the Grim. I didn't intend to do anything with it. I just wanted to use it as a pit bike, right?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to see what's going on. So you join the forum, as I said, and and these guys, they get these things like, I got mine for $950, and then like 6 months later, they're like, I have $2,900 into mine, and it's better than a Grom, and you're like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's definitely not better than a Benelli.
No, definitely.
Right. Yeah.
And so you could have had a bike that you could have just been riding for the last 6 months, but
But you had to dick around with it and send it out for the ECU flash.
That's right. Take it apart and the pipes.
6 months later.
It's in the garage, up on a box.
Next Thursday when you ride it, you can suck my dick.
So where do you send the ECU to get flashed?
Two-wheel dyno tuners.
Yeah.
It's in Washington State.
Okay.
And they do
out in
it in
Elyria,
one day,
off of
and then
Route
they send
20.
it back. They send it back express. It'll be here Friday. It'll be back in my hands Friday. And
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah,
They
exactly.
have an electric one.
Electric who?
SSR makes a little electric quad.
Oh,
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they don't have anything in the way of gasoline-powered quads I see here. They're big in the side-by-sides. I keep getting
do
information
they still have
about
like
those.
the Buccaneer or whatever, the 200?
No, the
cc
Buccaneer,
Cafe, or-
the Buccaneer 250 motorcycle.
yeah.
Dead sexy until you got close to it and you realized how small it was. But yeah, that's the SSR Buccaneer. And well, I'll pull it up just because it's fun to look at it. But
You gotta
last
find
time,
a picture of it with the dude on it, like you said, because like it
Oh,
looks
now-
really
now I
good.
know what
It
you're
looks
talking about.
fantastic.
Oh, the motorcycle looks fucking
Yeah, now I remember
beautiful.
which
It
one
looks
you're talking
so good until you see it in scale with a human being. It's one of those things that looks like, you're looking at it, you're like, oh, that thing's gorgeous.
It looks like a V7.
Like a V7,
or-
right?
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with
Yeah,
it.
it's
It's totally cool. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that motorcycle until you see a small human on it, and then you're like,
It's a 3/4 bike.
wait a second. Like I have been there. So that's the Queen Mary. So I was there on my CB 400F, and I realized that bike is a lot smaller than my CB 400F, and it's just one of those things that the Buccaneer is not a big motorcycle, but it does have a lot of very, very,
Panache.
it's pretty. It's got some panache. That's exactly right. It's
Let me
got
ask
some
you
panache.
this: how can Chinese manufacturers get the ratios
proportions right?
but then like every dude on Craigslist is like, I want the seat to end by the gas tank.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's always a crime. Right.
It's a hate crime to motorcycles.
Yeah, it is. The again, there are how the mighty have fallen, but to me, there has never been anything as bad as the gap that exists on this particular motorcycle. Because what the fuck, Ducati? Look. The front 90% of this motorcycle is just liquid sex. There's nothing wrong with the GT1000. It's a beautiful motorcycle. But who caught this bike on its first day of prison? What the fuck happened to this bike?
It looks like
it's
of another bike.
It looks like you're looks like you're at the auction and you're like, oh man, what hit that?
What hit that? Exactly. The GT1000. This motorcycle is so beautiful on the front end. And then it's like one of those stupid southern squat trucks or whatever
It's the opposite of a
The
squat
Carolina
truck.
squat.
the Carolina squat. Oh my God. This is like they lifted the back end of the motorcycle.
No, could you get smaller shocks and fix it?
Well, that's with a human being sitting on it.
Yeah, that's not fixable.
It's awful. It is awful. And the riding position's not great. I mean, that's with handlebar risers and everything else going on. But so the answer is, everyone always says, can you fix that? Like, is there a way to fix it? And the answer is no, you just basically put the exhaust into the negative space. So you just basically make the exhaust go higher until the exhaust fills up that space. Because literally, this motorcycle, the back of it looks like a Yamaha dirt bike,
yeah.
right? Like a Yamaha dirt bike from the 70s.
Well, with extra 4 inches.
With an extra 19 inches of travel. It's like, what were they planning on doing with this motorcycle that they needed to have so much travel? Here's another way to fix it. GV bags.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
You put GV bags on it, you almost don't notice it, right? You literally almost just don't notice it. But it is. The motorcycle is so beautiful in certain light, There's just ways that you can shoot it. You can take pictures of it a certain way and people won't notice how fucking awful it is
It's
there.
what's up front that counts.
It is what's up front that counts. And I will tell you that just like other motorcycles we'll mention, this is a hard bike to wheelie.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's a kind of a hard bike to wheelie. It is not an easy machine to get the front wheel up in the air on. Yet it's got 1,000 cc. It's 2-valve motor. It's not a super powerhouse, but it's enough. But there's no question about it. Like, I love that motorcycle so much until I got one, and then it was all over at that point. It's fucking, I don't care about him now.
So bubble burst.
Yeah, bubble burst indeed. See this picture right here? Photoshop. It's a guy doing a wheelie on a yellow one. Now, I'm not saying it's actually Photoshop. I'm just saying it's not
No, that
the
suspension's
most.
so tall. He's actually at 12 o'clock.
He's at 12 o'clock. The bike's at about 6:30. The bike's going to get there a little after he does.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, the bike's going to get there late, I assure you. But yeah, that's an example of a motorcycle that's just like, wow, man. But anyway, I digress. But the Buccaneer, there's still a promotion email that we get that's like, if you have a Buccaneer, you can sell a Buccaneer to a customer and give them like $1,000 of like loyalty cash. Ooh. And I'm like, what dealer still has a 2018 Buccaneer on their floor? I want to meet this guy.
Yeah.
Because this guy's the hardcore of hardcore. Like, I own my inventory. I'll keep it until I sell it. You can't make me sell my inventory below its value because of some ambiguous date on a calendar when I'm being charged more interest. Right. Fuck you. I own my shit. But if you're a dealer and you still have a 2018 anything on your floor, you're not in America. Every dealership I know go into is a fucking ghost town.
I got oil. I think I told you. I don't think I was on the podcast. I think I just stopped in. I was in Menor. I went to Western Reserve Honda. Uh-huh. They have 4 motorcycles in their entire showroom.
And they're all customers' bikes in for service.
Oh, they're all used. They're all used. I think they have one new Africa Twin. Some, I don't even know. It's like a Honda Chopper still. Okay. Like whatever the Honda.
Fury?
No, maybe a Fury or something. Yeah. And like a mini bike. That's it. They have nothing else in that whole shop.
That's a full size adult on the.
Hey, how many straps did they have? I mean, were those still on sale?
Yeah, they have a pile of straps up there.
I mean, I would even sponsor a pair of straps for every person on the podcast because for you were $24 a piece,
something like that. Yeah,
for a set of 2.
Yeah, and those were good straps, right? They were really good.
I didn't, I looked at them; they were really cool, and I'm like, you know what? I want those.
I'll get you a set. I'll be out there for work.
I could throw you.
Were they
some
special in some way?
They're good
in every way.
They're good.
Really?
Yeah.
Honda straps.
Oh,
and they have a carabiner at the end, and the ends when you pull it down, they're perfect length, so you can put the end through the carabiner.
Yeah.
And
they're not ratchets. They're cam locks.
Wow.
But
they're 2 inches wide.
So they have the hook, but then it goes around your handlebar and then hooks to the hook, and yeah.
It worked. I mean, like, I've never felt a bike that's so.
And they're shorties. They don't have any extra length. They're they're about 2 inches wide.
The last bike.
And they say,
Honda. Yeah, that's important. But the last time I went to Michigan to buy the other 850, I had all these other straps, and every 5 minutes I had to tighten them and retighten them, and I almost lost the bike and all this.
Because wait.
Okay, so he's got the
But those say ClevelandMoto on them.
No, it doesn't say Honda.
What the fuck?
Well, that's a ratchet strap, though. See, that's a lot of work.
What the fuck is this?
Pass it around.
No shit.
Look at him. He's been snaking us.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about with these fancy.
Well, if we knew this existed, we'd have talked to you. But
shit. Well, where's mine?
God damn it.
Oh, security.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
Yeah.
That's the demo.
That is yours.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the demo.
I'm going to put this in the back of my car. Well, so they were pretty much like that, but not a ratchet.
Yeah, it's just a cam.
So I ordered them 2 ways. I ordered them with a cam and I ordered them with a ratchet, and they're got carabiners on both ends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's what I have, but now I want those too.
Yeah, I think I only ordered 200 of those.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's a nice sound.
Yeah, it's a nice sound, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. That could also be, used as some Foley effects for, some weapon being cocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he blew her face off. But yeah, anyway. But fun in the world of ratchet straps.
I mean, straps are important to people with motorcycles.
It is.
I just went and bought another set. I didn't buy anything great. I got Huskies or whatever, but they're a lot better. But looking at those compared to my old Harbor Freight ones, the orange ones.
Have you ever seen our giving bucket? So the giving bucket we have in the back of the shop here, we've got no less than 200 or 300 straps that are all straps that companies use to package their motorcycles to us. You just throw them anywhere, Eli. Just chuck them on the ground over there or whatever. It's a fucking strap. You can't break it. But yeah, I mean,
free you can.
Okay, if you can break a strap, you bought the wrong strap.
Right.
Because I have driven over Harbor Freight straps It's no bueno.
Oh, they're flat.
They survive. They do not survive.
No.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no,
You
no.
fucking drive over a Harbor Freight strap, even a fucking cam, like even like one moving part,
Right.
fucked. Just
Well,
broken.
we figured out.
Yeah.
I forget who I was talking to, but we figured out that the metal that for the Harbor Freight straps,
Yeah.
that's recycled tinfoil.
Yes.
They took all the tinfoil from all the hamburgers and stuff.
They
put
took
it
all the
together.
tinfoil from all the Dannon yogurt cups and stuff,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
just like, we're
yeah.
gonna make tie-down straps out of it.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. They tie-down straps are fucking super important. It's time for me to get new ones on my truck because I have the Moose Racing tie-down straps. Because I don't know if you've ever seen a Moose, but they're really fucking hard to tie down, and they're.
I just like the fact that it's the last thing anybody thinks of. So you're hauling around whatever.
Yeah.
$2,000 to $20,000 motorcycle, but you're
Right.
gonna slap a $4 strap on it and be like, it's good. I'll get it.
I
home.
don't give a shit if I'm just hauling a sheet of plywood for Lowe's. I want a good strap on there because I don't want that shit falling off and slicing somebody in half or something. You know?
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
I bought a whole bunch of the Moose brand because they have the carabiners on them.
Yeah.
You know, and the carabiners are nice because no matter how good you are at tying some shit in,
It can pop.
oh no, like you come out of a driveway in your truck, you come out at anything other than straight on, the truck's going to do this. And that is the scientific test used for every tie-down strap in the world. Is that just like dunk, 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 dunk?
Side wiggle.
Oh yeah. And so any strap that's just got a hook on it.
Right.
So like we have people bringing bikes in all the time and they're like, they made it all the way here from Kansas, right? And their shit is still upright. They take this last little fucking dive into my parking lot,
yeah.
and I watch the motorcycle do the I'm a trebuchet. And it's just like, takes all the energy of the entire truck
Yeah.
and puts like 4,600 pounds of force into destroying a perfectly good motorcycle. Like the guy, you know, he lovingly pushed it up the ramp.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, he tied it in carefully, probably used three or four old Harley Davidson t-shirts to wrap
Yeah,
it around
wrap
to
it
make
to
sure
make sure
nothing got
it's-
scratched.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden he hits that off camber shit coming into my driveway and the bike just goes, compression, which releases the left strap because the hook is just like that, and you know, looks like Paul's dick. And like, sorry, Paul. But it's just, you know, it releases because gravity, you know, like it just releases. So if there's no clip or no safety mechanism on your hook,
Right.
then you're just fucked, you know?
Here's a pro tip that it's not. I didn't come up with this. Everybody else in the whole world knows this, but I fortunately somebody told me a long time ago.
So then is it a pro tip?
Well, it is because
Okay.
I saw a guy doing this on the way back, also touring a bike when I was coming back from Michigan.
Yeah.
He had a Harley and he had it strapped in, but he had it on the side stand.
Yeah.
So how much of an evil, like he's bending everything.
Nah, so side stands are a very freaky science.
Really?
So you can work with the side stand, but the trick is you don't put it all in the side stand.
Oh,
Right?
this dude had it. The bike was like this, and the straps were just.
Was the
holding
side
it.
stand poking through the bottom of his trailer?
Not yet.
Then he
but I-
probably didn't tighten it enough. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because I do the same
Yeah.
thing. I'll put them on the side stand,
I do
tighten
too.
it, and then pull it.
Exactly.
Then you go the other way.
Right.
Yeah.
You do a
But
no
you gotta
load.
get it away from the side
You do a
stand.
no load on the side stand side.
Right.
You do a no load there, just enough to take up the slack, and then you use the right one.
To pull it up.
Because look, man, some of us have to load bikes alone.
No. I get that.
We don't have helpers.
No, I get the fact you have to put it on the side stand
Yeah.
to load it, but I'm
Yeah.
saying dudes are like, they think
Yeah.
that, okay, I just have to snug it down on the side stand.
Yeah,
And
so-
then when you're hitting bumps.
Right. A Harley Davidson side stand is stronger than God. Like, no shit. They just fucking are, man. Like a Jiffy stand and shit like that stuff's stronger than God. But you take a Zero or something like this where it's got a cast side stand.
That's what I'm saying. Like
That
it's not-
shit is like made of angel farts. Like you can't trust cast side stands. You don't put any stress on them.
But if you pull it down on the suspension, right,
Yeah.
and you're hitting like you're in Michigan and you're
Yeah.
doing the whoop track,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like your bike can actually kind of move with the
Yeah.
suspension.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not
Yeah.
putting any load on any
Exactly.
frame member or anything. If you have it strapped down on that fucking
Right.
side stand,
Oh,
you're putting all that load into some
Absolutely.
part of the
Sure.
motorcycle. That's what I'm saying.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
No, I mean I'm never 100% right ever.
You don't want to put 100% of your load into the motorcycle.
Right.
Always save a little bit for the happy side.
So what about a hitch carrier? What's the heaviest bike you'd put on one of those?
I can tell you I have exceeded the GVWR of a 550-pound Versahol by a bit. I mean, I have put some 700-pound, 800-pound motorcycles into a Class 3 hitch, keeping in mind that I understand that like there's the engineering rule of 25 to 50% overage kind of thing. But I have just been, it's like any port in a storm, man. If I happen to have the money in my pocket and the guy who's like, well, I really need this heroin, so I could see this motorcycle disappearing, and I'm like, well, I happen to have a VersaHaul, so game on. And yeah, I've gone way the fuck over what you're supposed to. I mean, all those VersaHauls, because they're class 3, the rating is all class 3 base, so it's like 500 or 550 pounds. But the trailer hitch that ends up on the back of most RVs isn't a class 3, it's a class 4 or a class 5. And so those have a 750-pound tongue load rating. So yeah, you can get pretty rowdy with those. And the hole's the same size hole. It's still a 2-inch by 2-inch box that you can put in for a class 3. Now, if you show up in your Honda Element with a little fucking, little tiny 1-inch, square on it, class 2, then you better not put certain people I know on the back that are just going to fucking buckle,
There was like a Nissan Sentra on our way up
Yeah.
here. She had like some kind of box carrier on the back.
Yeah.
And just a cooler, and I don't know what the hell she had in the cooler, but the whole damn thing was 2
it
inches
was-
from the ground.
Really?
Yeah, it was, and
And I mean,
just
those
a cooler.
vehicles don't give you any authority on the rear shocks at all anyway. 'cause-
It was all walleye in the cooler.
And it's a fucking Yeti, and a Yeti cooler weighs like 900 pounds empty. Or so, you'll have that. But that's just mostly, you can always tell people who own a Yeti because they have stickers everywhere on everything.
Broadcasting if they have a Yeti.
They're making sure everyone knows. It's like, you ever run into a guy who has a Yeti that does CrossFit? You'll know if you do.
They'll tell you.
Yeah, they'll tell you. Yeah, I picked up a Yeti once and I was like, that's not going to work.
Dude, this Yeti will keep my soda cold for 7 days.
Yeah, if you can keep a beer in your cooler for 7 days,
You got a problem.
you're not drinking. Yeah. Where did you go and why didn't you come back?
Right.
Your body is out in the woods somewhere.
And your buddies drank your beer.
Yeah, your buddies probably drank your beer. I like a nice cooler. To me, the definition of a good cooler is a cooler that I can stand on the floor of my garage and throw it up into the rafters.
Right.
Because that's how I load my coolers out at the end of the summer. I just, give them a quick once over with the, the bleach and whatnot. And then I just stand on the ground and I just throw them up into the shelves.
Right.
And the rafters. It's about 10 feet or so. And I don't think I could do that with a Yeti. Because that shit comes back at you. You're fucked, man. You can't fight off a falling Yeti.
Well, put Merritt in front of you.
Well, they're all stabby, too. Like, the Yeti doesn't have a single rounded edge.
Yeah,
No. It's all sharp and pointy. Yeah, you throw a Yeti at your buddy? Fuck. No, you're done. And now they make all the fake Yetis.
I know.
So I was at Walmart, and they have, like, the not Yeti.
Spaghetti.
Soon enoughy. not Yeti, but soon. And they have that, and it's a fake Yeti, and it's still like $200.
I literally think they call them the Abominables because it's like or something like that.
Fucking hell, man! But
I would ask people if you're buying a cooler,
right,
to consider buying an Igloo cooler.
Yeah,
Igloo coolers are still made in the USA.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's
that's fucking cool. I didn't know that.
Reasonably priced and very efficient in their operation.
All right.
Yeah,
that's
Coleman as well.
Is Coleman still U.S. made?
We actually make them, some of them in Wichita.
Get the fuck out of here. On behalf of that, for fucking sure. Another cooler that we strongly recommend here at the Cleveland Moto podcast, which is, of course, made by Coleman, is the Oscar. And everybody should have an Oscar. The Oscar cooler, if you can lay your hands on an Oscar, there's nothing quite like having an Oscar on the back of your bike. So you can get an Oscar cooler. I do strongly recommend getting an Oscar. Come on, man.
I don't even have one.
You don't have an Oscar?
I didn't know they existed.
You need to get yourself on eBay, man.
I need to get one.
I
Oscar.
like to get a good fat sausage and put it in my Oscar cooler.
Oh my god.
Yep, there you go. Get a Coleman Oscar. Because why not? It's a fucking
How
Oscar.
long will it take?
You can fit anything in an Oscar.
You can fit anything in an Oscar. That's exactly
if
right.
you're brave enough.
Yep.
At least a couple sausages.
So get yourself a fucking Oscar. Yeah, so that's cool.
Put
And
all your
there's the-
meat in an Oscar.
But careful because the top's a little loose sometimes.
Hey.
At this point, it's really loose.
And sometimes it'll leak.
Look, I've been poor on weekends, but I've never been styrofoam cooler poor. Like, I've had some bad weekends out, but I've never been like styrofoam cooler weekend out. You're like, okay, well, what are we going to need, Phil? We're going to need a couple of bags of ice, and we're going to need a cooler, and we're going to need and I've never gone in and been like, yeah, give me the styrofoam cooler.
Right.
Because the second you pick it up, it's broken.
Right.
Yeah, those things are unsurvivable.
No.
Yeah, that's the shit my stuff comes in. Like things I buy come inside of those coolers.
Yeah.
Steaks and stuff come inside of those coolers.
Well, and most the funny part is like if you get like some kind of a thing sent to you, those are much better than the styrofoam ones that you have to buy.
Oh,
like I've gotten like my wife's friend had like they're traveling right now, so they're having their stuff sent to our house. Her insulin came in this fucking little cooler, and the thing is bad. I'm like, that's a fucking cool. It's like a hard, like really hard foam kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, like, you know.
Now, wait a minute. I had a styrofoam cooler that I had for like 15 years. A big one.
Really?
It survived that, no problem. Well, of course, the outside was clad in aluminum.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Chris Smith has a styrofoam boat in his house. Is it still there?
Oh, yeah.
Is it the Shark?
And it was titled.
What? Wow. I saw his boat. I looked up and I swear to God, I thought he'd had a fucking like a foam cooler problem in his garage and they'd all gotten together and made like unity. Like I thought they'd bred into the shape of a boat. And I think I might be wrong, but my memory serves. It might be a sailboat. Is it a sailboat?
Yeah, there's a story behind that.
It's a fucking sailboat.
What is it called? A snark?
It's called a hummingbird.
Hummingbird. Okay.
So my dad had 5 kids and could save about $1 a week, and so he spent 2 years saving $1 a week to buy this boat for $100. And we would take it down to Bradstreet's Landing. He would throw it on the top of the station wagon and tie it down. And we'd go down there and we'd dunk it in, and then it had a mainsail and a tiller and a centerboard, and we'd whip back and forth. And my dad knew nothing about sailing. He went and took out a book from Rocky River Public Library on sailing. Nice. And my mom had, so we had 5 kids. So there's 4 of us.
Your mom had 5 kids.
Well, there were 5 kids in the family. Let me put it that way. And the youngest one was too small for a life jacket. But the rest of us would go out there with my dad. And he's whistling along and had a little area in the back where he could put his beer in there, throw ice in there and beer.
Better.
And I still got it.
You just chuck it on the floor.
And if it sank, you just cut that part out, and then you had a foam cooler.
So I was trying to find out if that company's still around, because I would donate it back to the company or the sailboat museum or something like that. And they don't seem to answer their phone when I call anymore.
Shit, really.
Yeah.
There's been one thing in my life I've ever Googled and didn't get a result on.
Yeah, hummingbird.
And it's hummingbird boat. And in
fact, did you put hummingbird styrofoam boat?
I'm going to actually go one step further, and I'm going to go styrofoam sailboat in case the brand name.
Yeah, and we still have the paperwork for it too.
It's hilarious.
That's got to be that thing down there, right?
Which
Look.
thing?
Those 2 right there.
I'm going to say I've been in Chris's garage and see that right there?
Yeah.
That thing? Like
that's kind of it.
That's kind of where it is.
Yeah, it's got the. I think my dad got the upgraded one.
What I think is funny is I think it might have been a cool cigarette promotion. But I think if you smoked enough Camel Cash, they gave you the cool boat. Yeah.
Do you know how many people are pissed off that the satin jacket they got from Marlboro also cost them $49 million in cancer?
But it does look to me like that Pepsi Hull. Doesn't that look like your boat, Chris?
Yeah, we have a little deeper draft.
It is a little deeper draft? Okay. All right. So maybe it looks like that.
But, if we get it down and put it on the water and step into it,
we'll go vaporize.
We'll go right through it.
I've seen what happens to old helmets in here. Like somebody's like, I don't know.
It looks like the same tiller, though, I'll tell you that.
My helmet was under the seat of my bike for the past 19 years, and you pull it out and you hold it up in the air and all the foam falls out of it. Yeah. You're like,
Well, if there's a pond at band camp, I'll haul it up there.
God. And that thing is going to last. It is actually better to take that thing and put ice in it.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
And use it as a cooler.
But aren't they talking about bringing back Viking burials? So that could be like a big like you could start making styrofoam boats and then you just touch a match to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Woof, there it goes. Yeah, that's it. So just
there it is.
Yeah.
Only thing better would be like a Bakelite boat.
Yeah. There's Chris's actual styrofoam boat. just right there. It's a.
Wait, we didn't get a joke.
No. Uh-oh.
Nothing?
No pressure, no jokes.
Nothing yet.
No pressure, no jokes. Okay. But yeah, back to motorcycle nonsense. So what did we also talk about anything else? Was there any other homework I gave out today?
The car.
And I sent a text on a bunch of Harleys for sale over in off of Gov Deals. in Newburgh Heights, just over at 77.
And those are all, you said 2003?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those are all up on Gov Deals.
Gov Deals,
right?
yeah.
And that's an interesting thing because now,
I wonder if those are City of Cleveland or City of Newburgh.
That's what I was wondering too.
I think they're Newburgh.
I think they're Newburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know Newburgh has some of their own bikes, and City of Cleveland probably wouldn't still be riding any 2003s.
There were bikes laying around.
Oh yeah, just
but
hanging
if we
out.
could get a few and then paint some skulls on them, we could quadruple our money.
Hey,
What color were they?
I think they're all black.
Oh, well, black and silver, black and white.
Yeah,
Silver.
Black and silver. I know
Cleveland.
that's Cleveland.
That's Cleveland.
And and none of them were over $3,500.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's so. Having bought a few police motorcycles in my time, that might be high. So, police motorcycles, especially 18-year-old police motorcycles, they're not getting rid of them because they're still running. They're getting rid of them because they've scavenged shit off of them. And so, looking at Gov Deals, because this will all be over by the time this drops. That was that link you sent out. I wonder, is it actually govdeals.com?
Yeah, Gov Deals, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a membership on that, so we'll just look at that.
And then there's also 5 2014 Zero DFS 114s.
Yeah, and that's so that's an interesting thing because that's a 2014. It was kind of one of the last years that the Zero had the old school motor that had the magnets bonded, means glued to the outside of the motor or to the outside of the rotor. And so I personally think that, let me rephrase that. There's a reason ClevelandMoto didn't start carrying Zeros until about 2016. Take that for what it's worth. Yeah. So, there's a reason we said no in 2014. So,
Emergency text.
Emergency text?
Dan from Cincinnati said, we're about full on Dan Camp. Is anybody from ClevelandMoto coming down to Dan Camp, which is now Band Camp, moved to Dan Camp in Kentucky?
And it's the same weekend as formerly Band Camp, right?
Yes.
So do we know the dates of that?
I can find out.
Okay.
I thought it
Figure
was
that
gonna
out.
be Father's Day weekend.
Yeah. So now there is a Harley Davidson, a couple of Harley Davidsons that are in the Westlake Police Department, but those are $10K a piece. So the
June 17th through the 20th.
there you go. It's my birthday weekend. So
Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah.
that's Benjamin Danklin.
Yeah.
Way to go.
So anybody want to go to?
Well, June 17th weekend.
Yeah.
That was about a 4 or 5 hour drive or something like that. What was the?
It's in Leesburg, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So about 4 or 5 hours.
No. I won't be showing up, but
Okay.
I wish I could. It sounds fun.
Man, that's
I know.
nothing. 4 or 5 hours, that's
I was
nothing.
going to say, yeah.
We've done 14 to 15 hours just coming up here.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's when you realize how big your state is. Like when you're like, oh, look, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, they're all rather small compared to the big square states. Yeah, the big square states go on forever. You said Leesburg, Kentucky?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there you go. We'll see we'll take a look and see what the mileage is on that. So that is 5 hours and 19 minutes away. So just north of Lexington.
Here, hold on. I'm going to have you guys all give the finger so we can send Dan a proper picture.
Oh, well, there you go. Dan Hostwick, my God, one of the greatest podcast listeners ever.
Everybody give Dan the finger. Hey, fuck you, Dan. All right.
There you go.
All right.
I'll just do this. Thank you.
Two-stroke deviant. All right, so that's 5 hours 19 minutes away. Just literally, come on, just north of Lexington, a couple hours east of Louisville. You're good to go. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that. Probably really good at riding down there. So
yeah. And plus Dan and all those guys.
those guys
good
are awesome. They're so much fucking fun. Super cool. I'm committing to nothing because I'm stupid bored. So I pulled it up for you, Chris. So that's so there's 2014 Electric Glides by Westlake. That's the city of Westlake doing that auction. And 2014, that's a 103 cubic inch motor. Those are pretty fucking cool. And they sprung for the extra airbrushing. Look at that. Oh boy. Get a special, and that's only got 4,200 miles on it. That is a brand new motorcycle. And that's why it's 10, starting bid's 1,000, but it's up to $10,000 already.
Yeah. So it jumped.
Yeah. Those are proper. So did you find the ones from Newburgh? I'm going to pull them up right now for you. Let's take a look and see. Columbus, Georgia, Atlanta, Newburgh Heights, Ohio. 3,500 on all of them.
Yeah, baby.
Seems like all of them.
That's the
starting bid. Yeah, that's the starting bid. Let's find one that's got some bids on it. That means somebody's looked it over and decided it was a good bike. Yeah, black and silver.
Oh, that's a good looking bike.
There's a whole fleet of those fuckers behind it too. Look at that picture. Damn.
That one with no fender on the back.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what it looks. Those look to be the bikes. If I can see what the building is like that they're in.
Okay, we're gonna get forensic on this shit. These have been scavenged.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, these have been scavenged. I'm gonna look at one of the other auctions to see if we can pick up some different
But
pictures.
the black
But
and
I think
silver is going to be Cleveland.
that's
probably.
Cleveland. We're not saying that only Cleveland uses black and silver, but
So does Cleveland park them in Newburgh Heights? Then,
But
or what?
Newburgh Heights doesn't have that many.
no. Newburgh Heights might have one, maybe two.
That looks like the body shop where we went down and did some pull-ups.
I was gonna say that looks like a lot of motorcycles in that picture.
I got a guy I could call.
Here,
Yeah.
scroll down a little bit because they'll tell you who's selling my thing.
All right, here we go.
Somebody talking to a microphone.
So we're looking up these motorcycles, and it looks like they're.
It's at East 49th
yeah.
Street. So
And the
that's,
seller's name is Cleveland, Ohio. So these are Cleveland police bikes. So I'm going to tell you just a little something for you, just for the kids at home who are playing at home. There are very few things in life that thrive in Cleveland. Motorcycles ridden in the wintertime?
Not much.
Not one of them.
One of them.
No.
Yeah, we have this thing here called salt.
Especially when it's not
if
a
you want to get
personal.
in the game, I can call Harvey. We can get the down low on all those.
Yeah, we could if
We
we,
can go look at it
really
tomorrow
desperately
if you
need
want.
a lightly fucked. No, let's be honest, a heavily fucked.
John, how much wiring have you done on most of those bikes?
Most of the wiring that I did was tearing wiring.
I was
out,
going to say,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
stripping them down and
Yeah.
everything.
Wow, right on.
Yeah,
But we didn't purposely fuck anything on
Right.
the bikes. There was nothing that
No.
when we removed the equipment, it wasn't cutting any wiring harnesses or anything like that. The one, I mean, like
the Harley Davidson I bought, the police Harley Davidson I bought, the law enforcement equipment had been removed by a giant pair of dikes. I mean, it was just vicious. And
They left the battery on, so they're just going right across.
oh
plus and
man,
minus.
it was like they just grabbed the whole fucking loom, and they were like, "All right, wham!"
Oh.
And when I turned the key on, I could smell welding. Like all the things that they had said, well, I'm going to save that light bar, or I'm going to save that radio, or I'm going to save this, anything else. And they whoever they did, like, I don't know who they said, go take that stuff we paid for off that motorcycle because we're getting another one.
Right.
Whoever they told to do that, the man only owned one tool. It might have been like those giant hedge trimmers.
Yeah.
Like it was something vicious. But the amount of fucking bullshit wiring repair I had to do in that bike was just anywhere that anything went into, which on the Harley Davidson is everywhere, right?
it's not to save it to put it on something else. The new bikes come with new stuff on it.
Right.
It's just to decommission it and make it not a cop bike anymore.
Because there's a dude out there somewhere that wanted to buy a cop bike so he could pull people over just to be a dick.
Every BMW that I bought from the auctions, I was buying them from BMW USA. And those bikes had all the cop shit still on them, but the lenses had been removed.
Oh.
So the lenses were gone, and then you just put green lenses on it or whatever. I mean, a guy that I sold one of them to is here in town, and he's running around, and it's got green lenses on all the, things. It's a BMW.
Red and blue part.
And then on the back of it, where it used to say police, it just says traffic.
I like when they leave lice.
In Britain, there's a thing where they had the bright. We saw all the yellow vests.
Oh, yeah.
So all the bright yellow vests, but on the back, instead of saying police, it said polite. And it was just like a made you look kind of thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. And this guy's a very, very nice, normal, awesome guy, but having a BMW police motorcycle that has all the accessories on it and then says traffic on the side. Ah, man.
You know what? So, like, if you follow the VinWiki guys at all, they're always posting the stuff about the cross country, the it's not Cannonball anymore, but it's individual runs.
Right.
And most of the guys build like police looking cars.
Yes.
If you see a police car driving 110 miles an hour past you, you're probably not going to call the cops.
Right.
Has anybody tried to do a cross country time thing on one of these things or anything like that on motorcycle?
Well, so I have a little bit of history with that, and I don't want to. Well, we'll say it carefully. A long time ago, I bought a Chevy Impala.
Right. That was a cop car. What?
This would have been like 1990
something
ish.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I bought like a 1985-ish Impala that used to, in its previous life, be a police car.
Right.
Right. And it was all white. And, It was a four-door. It was what you'd expect an all-white Chevy Impala to be.
Were you
right?
wearing all black BDU?
No. But at the time, I had just been hired at a police department. Okay. So I'd been hired at a police department, and that was the car that I had anyway. That was the car I had decided to buy with, $700. Mm-hmm. And so I had to drive from Cleveland to Columbus every week for police academy. And it's a very boring, very awful drive.
Terrible.
And you could either drive there the night before, because we had weekend, we could go home on the weekend. So you go home for Saturday and Sunday, but you got to be back Monday morning at like dark 30. So I would rock up in the morning and drive the 2.5 hours at like 110 miles an hour, right? And so, but my thing was always, just a white Chevy Impala. Yep. But then I would hang my police uniform in the back left, driving in the back left window, where that little hook is to hold your clothes and shit, your dry cleaning. So I'd hang my uniform there. And so then if I was running southbound at 1,000,000 miles an hour, that, whatever, right? Dichotomies of law enforcement. Look it up. So I'm doing that, and I get pulled over by a state trooper.
Oh, those guys don't fuck around.
No, they don't. So I got pulled over. And so I got pulled over, and the guy walked up to my window, and he was a fucking mind reader. The guy was like, I see in the back of your vehicle there, it says police department, your uniform there. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, heading southbound. So I'm guessing you're in the academy. And I went, maybe. And he went, yeah. You know what kind of a message it sends to people when you're traveling at a high rate of speed in an unsafe manner, passing them, and they see a law enforcement uniform hanging in your window?
He's on the call.
And I went, honestly, I'm not trying to. He's like, well, you're setting a pretty bad example for the public. Oh. And I went, wow, that sucks. And he said, and I was like, so what are we going to do about this? And he says, well, I'm not going to write you a ticket, but I'll make sure to call the staff and the cadre down at the academy. So I got down there, and Monday morning.
Please give me a ticket.
Monday morning, I get down there, and we're doing push-ups. We're basically pushing Columbus into Louisiana, and doing all these horrible things, and running up acres of fucking bleacher stairs and all this shit. And I was the class lieutenant because I'm prior military experience, and I'm calling cadences and being super cool, and I get called aside, and they're like, you have to write a 5,000-word essay on the dichotomies of law enforcement. And I was like, dichotomies? And they're like, the dichotomies of law enforcement. You have to have it by tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
A 5,000-word essay on the dichotomies of law enforcement.
I'm very, 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 very.
And then they went out in the parking lot, and they came out and they were like, okay, so who has the Honda Civic license plate number so-and-so, 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 so-and-so? Yeah, why do you have a radar detector? They went through everybody's car and okay, who has the Volkswagen Passat? Your 3 or your 4 tires are bald. And they jacked us up on each one of our fucking POVs. POV's personally owned vehicle. Right. So fuck you, it's my own shit. No. Even when they're on the off time, even when we're in there learning how to be cops and fuck with people, they're showing us new, unique, enlightened ways to fuck with people. Just when you thought you'd gone to the edge of the mountain. Nope, more mountain. Yep,
but
they can fuck with you harder.
State troopers are awful. So when I used to DJ, I had my buddy Todd. He was this sergeant in Moreland Hills. Now he's I don't know, he's super up there, but whatever. He was in the car with me, he went with me. We're coming back, and all the barrels and stuff were pulled off the road right when we got into Ohio. And so it said 50 during work time and 65 during not. So he's like, oh, you're cool, do 65. So I was doing literally 65. State trooper pulls in behind us, we pull over. And so he comes to his side of the car, because I'm driving, he's on that side. And he goes, license, registration, all that stuff. So I give him mine, he goes, and let me see yours too. So his license was in his badge wallet thing. So he hands it to me, he goes, oh, trying to pull some favors as a police officer? And Todd's like, no, you asked me.
Yes, I absolutely am.
Yes.
Well, he goes, no, you asked me for my license. I happen to keep it in my badge. He goes, does your sergeant know about that? He goes, well, you're talking to my sergeant. I'm the sergeant of the thing. So what can I do for you? And he's like, well, he goes, your buddy here, you should know better. He's speeding. He's doing 15 over in a construction zone. He's like, no, the construction zone is not in operation. There's nobody working here, whatever. He's like, really? He goes, well, I'm going to issue him a ticket, and I'm going to also talk to your, your department, whatever. So Todd goes, he goes, and I give him credit for this. He goes, man, he goes, so you didn't make it as a cop, and now you're a dick, huh? And so I got my ticket. And we drove home.
Yeah, I have the utmost respect for state troopers. There's a video that we published not long ago of me on a zero motorcycle. And I get on the freeway and, going about 126 miles an hour. And you'll see me in the video. It's a helmet cam thing. And I'm just cruising along about 126 miles an hour there. And just kind of rapid acceleration. It's electric. Boogie, oogie, oogie, right? and you see in the shot, that's a trooper. Like in the shot, it's a trooper. And then the camera goes off. And I'm like, all right, we'll talk to you later. And I shut it off because I don't want my own video be used in court against me later on.
Well, this all happened in Mexico.
Right, exactly. Avon Lake. Clearly that was on the highway in Mexico. And so the cop comes up and, he's like, well, I got you there at about 86.
Oh.
And I went,
okay, fair enough.
Seems reasonable. Yeah, seems totally cromulent. I'm okay with that. 86. I'm thinking that's all right now. And he goes, yeah, you were slowing down pretty hard. And I was like, did the cherry red brake rotors give me away? I don't know. Maybe I might have been. I don't know. All I know is this motorcycle regenerates electricity, and I just created a nuclear bomb's worth. The whole bike got warmer.
Went from 45 to 115%. I don't know how it happened.
The planet slowed down. Yeah, I'd recycled an entire village. Yeah, but so he pulls me, and he was like talking. I was like, well, I build motorcycles and stuff, and we did this crazy custom job on this bike with these kooky knobby tires and this thing. He's like, so you're just giving it a shot, right? And I was like, I'm not going to try to tell you that your equipment's broken. I'm not going to try and be a dick. I used to be a police officer. If you tell me I was going 86, then all your equipment is telling you that I was going 86. And I'm not going to even accuse you of treachery or debauchery or lying or anything. So let's just hope that we can be friends about this and this will all be cool. And he's just like, so how fast does it really go? And I was like, okay, we're cool. Because anybody who rides a motorcycle knows, or drives a cool car knows, when the cop starts talking about like your ride,
Cars, yeah.
Probably going to be okay.
Let me circle back and hit me again, and I'll show you.
If you can catch me, it's just a challenge. I mean,
I did get a ticket a few years ago because I had a customer that brought his bike into the shop that said that the damn thing had like a death wobble at 105, right?
Oh, you have to find out.
Right, and the guy's like, this thing, anything over 100, it's going to kill me. So I was like, I don't know. So we checked everything out at the shop that we could check out. And so coming into work one morning, bright and squirrely, nobody's on the road. I was like, all right, I'm just going to sneak it up. 80, it's fine. 90, it's fine. 100, it's fine. 105 is a little bit. Okay, back out of it. You know what you do then? 110. Okay, we're cool. 115. We're cool. Lock up! And I did that. And I just did that. And I was fucking just pulled over. The guy didn't even have his lights on. He was still drinking his coffee. And I pulled over for no apparent reason. And just left 93 feet of skid mark.
You're like, oh God, the throttle's stuck. I
was pulled over. Like he got out and was like, lights on. And he was like, lights off. Fuck it. And he pulled over and behind me. He's like, so what the fuck's going on? And he's like, and of course I'm side of the road, take my helmet off. Like, hold my helmet in my gun hand kind of thing, License, helmet in my hand. I couldn't possibly hurt you with either of these items.
Right.
So officer safety is not the reason you shoot me today. That's exactly it. So I was like, yeah. So he comes up. He's like, so what's going on? I was like, well, I own the motorcycle shop. And customer came in, said the bike had a death wobble at about 100 miles an hour. And honestly, I can't give it back to him saying, well, don't go 100. I have to do something. And he's like, well, you don't do that in Westlake. And I went,
yes, sir.
Okay.
No problem. Noted. So he's like, yeah. So he disappears. And I'm like, fuck. So he comes back and he writes me a ticket for like 75 or something, like something reasonable. So he writes me a ticket, something he knows that I can pay, and he's generated income for his city and life's good and everything else. So once I get the ticket, I'm like, okay. So he really can't. So his cop kind of puts himself in a bad position when he says you're going 105, but he writes you for 75. You have a little bit of leeway at this point. Because he doesn't want to unrate that ticket.
Right.
And I was like, so where do you recommend I go for these kind of activities? You got any suggestions? And he was like, fucker. He's like, not in Westlake. And I was like, fuck, man. I was hoping for some cool inside fucking download information. He's like, oh, we strongly recommend going over there.
Yeah, Dragway 42.
Go the other way. Go to Cleveland.
Honestly, yeah. Cleveland has some certain rules on pursuit.
Yeah.
So, like, the state troopers will pursue you until they're out of gas. Until the helicopters are out of gas,
right.
Until the Air Force is out of gas. They'll follow you into other states.
490 is open for business.
But legitimately, the city of Cleveland will not pursue you.
They proved that with the bike life guys when there's 290 dirt bikes doing wheelies through town, and they're like, fuck it. We'll get
No, they just pursue until they're out of bullets.
That's what I was going to say. The worst thing that you can do with Cleveland is honestly to stop.
Yeah. Don't have your car backfire.
Right.
Holy shit. Don't do that.
The whole city found out about that. But it is one of those things. It's like the city of Cleveland, and we have people that we know that are in the department. They're like, we're not going to go after a motorcycle.
Right.
No fucking way are we going to go after a
I
motorcycle.
work over in the 5th district, and there'd be dudes riding past the district.
Waving, 12 o'clock wheelie, waving at the cops. Go for it. No license plate, no nothing on a stolen bike. Yeah. Cops, Cleveland cops are not going
What's
to.
for lunch?
You know what? There's a thing about that with certain law enforcement departments, and we were at a rally years ago in Chicago, and a bunch of guys went past our rally, and the guys went past our rally on dirt bikes like 12 o'clock, and we were like, fuck that. We can do that. So we were like, hold my beer, watch this. And we ran out in the street, we jumped on our bikes, and you just heard like 25 two-strokes all kick over at the same time, and we're like, let's play! And we all went out, and we're like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. It's 1 o'clock in the morning on Labor Day weekend.
Oh, bad.
And all of us assholes went out to play with the local kids, and we're doing wheelies down the street, and then the police car shows up. And I was like, oh man, those kids can go home. Our house is like 6 hours from here. I don't think we're going to make it. This bike gets shit mileage. We're not going anywhere. Okay, go back to the bar. And that's what we did. We just went back to the bar. Yeah, it wasn't worth it. Yeah, we didn't live there. So you guys, you remember the Perry Dakar rally? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool.
All the bikes that spurred from that?
Yeah, right? So Perry Dakar was pretty badass. I mean, that whole thing. And then the idea of like going to...
Is that become the eco race now? Is that what it's called? Or something?
I don't even want to get involved with that.
Okay, just ask.
But these British guys,
they got it.
They got it. So now they're not doing it the way it was Perry Dakar. They're doing it the original way from the Brooklyn.
Fucking, they have an original fucking
Super T, 750, Kajiva,
everything.
All kinds of cool shit. Like all kinds of cool shit.
All the BMWs,
Look
the
at
Hondas, the Yamahas,
Look at those bikes.
Suzuki.
Look at that shit. So yeah,
can we talk about all these new liveries? Like, can we go back to old liveries or liveries or however you fucking liveries?
Livery.
Look at that. That's so much better than anything. Well, the Africa Twin pretty much is the same. But
do you remember there was this idea that at a long distance you could tell the sponsor from like a super, super long different distance away.
Right.
You know? And that was the idea is the Lucky Strike bike didn't look like a Marlboro bike.
Nope.
Right. And the Camel bike didn't look like the John Player Special. And if you didn't smoke cigarettes, you were just out of the fucking luck, right? So that was just the way it worked. Yeah,
now
everything was all about cigarette money.
Now it's tampon sponsors and condom sponsors and all the shit that's safe.
No, it's like a fucking E-Trade bike. Like I was like, who can be like? How can you be serious when you're riding the GoDaddy website?
So in the Indy 500, the Dogecoin bike was
the Dogecoin.
He led the fucking thing, man.
Again, here we are. Yep, that's it. I'm just happy it's not just. No, there is a fucking Viagra bike. I was just gonna say, I was really happy there wasn't a Viagra bike. But honestly, that was fucking way out back on that one.
Suspension's way too stiff though on that one.
Yep. After 4 hours,
that was low hanging.
Loses all performance.
That was like the apple was falling from the tree, and I was like, boing.
What's gonna happen? So this company called Bespoke Rallies, which basically is just for British guys who have way too much money. Yeah. It's one of those things. If you have enough money, you can do really, really exotic stuff. Like I want to fuck a rhinoceros. There's a guy that will do it, and then he'll sell you a Jimmy John sub while you're doing it too.
Allegedly.
If it's a sick rhinoceros.
No, that dude screwed a shark. He was on a boat screwing a shark.
Again,
we dealt with this a year and a half ago.
We did.
And you thought I was lying, and then you found the image.
I found the picture of the guy having sex with a shark.
Yeah.
Again, I'll never buy another Jimmy John sandwich.
No, you
There's
can't.
no way. Do you know why?
Because he fucked a shark.
Because he knows what shark meat smells like.
That's a real class act.
I've heard of jumping the shark.
Yes. But anyway, so this is real. This is
Fonzie was cool. That day, not so much.
4,000 miles.
Shit.
Any classic machine is welcome to enter, but it's primarily aimed at the early Dakar bikes that inspired the first range of adventure bikes we know them now, such as the Africa Twin, GS's, Tenares, Elephants, and XTs. Wow. Taking part in next year's event on one of his many classic off-road machines is Dakar bike collector Harry Metcalf, a former Performance Car Magazine owner who runs a popular YouTube channel called Harry's Garage, where he shows people around his 2- and 4-wheel delights.
Now,
it's
Harry,
like Jay Leno's garage, but anyway.
Harry, if you're too hairy, you could also use manscaping to trim it down.
It's a magical thing. So, but anyway, 5,850 pounds. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's going to get you on the rally. So
That's
an interesting
$5,800 or $50.
Yeah, exactly. At today's current exchange rate in the motorcycle community, that's exactly $5,850. It's not that far off, though.
3 weeks, 21 days.
Yeah, 21 days.
Do they have SAG and everything?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Look at these fucking Ponzi bastards. Yeah. These dudes don't go out of their driveway without a chase vehicle. Honestly, on half of these motorcycles, if you press a special button, as our friend Chris Ashmore would say, the special black helicopters come to pick you up.
So there is no like Lyndon Poskett, Moto fucking on your own, working on your own shit going on.
This ain't the Posty Bike Rally.
No.
This shit is money, money, money. Yeah, these guys know how to party.
That's a good, but listen, if you had all 4 of those bikes in your garage, you're a happy fucking dude.
No, because that's like fucking 11
Except
carburetors.
you're sending them out to get reflashed and
honestly, I don't think
taking the wheels
I look
off.
at that situation right there, and you know what I see?
What?
I see a bunch of old men who think they can dance.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? Those guys can't dance anymore.
No.
They just can't dance.
When you actually see like the racing footage of those motherfuckers doing 110 miles an hour over 2-foot lumps and shit in the sand, you're like, these are inhuman.
Do you know the way that you could ride those? No. Miles of coke. Yeah. You basically, they gave you a motorcycle with somebody else's name printed on the side of it because he died.
Right.
They gave you the motorcycle. You're like, who am I riding this week?
Yeah.
And then they gave you a bucket of cocaine.
Yeah.
And like that basket they put on horses.
Yeah.
Like so the horses can eat. Yeah. And so they put that on your face and they go, Dakar is that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go. And you just fucking go. And that's all it is.
It's like a slip inside.
just go face first. Just go face first. Right through all the blow. And like that's how these teams ran. Because you got to remember when these teams were popular.
I do cocaine so I can ride faster. I ride faster so I can do more cocaine.
That's not all it was. Right. You think about the era when this shit was powerful. Because when you look at the Ball d'Or motorcycles and all that shit that was like still had a square headlight.
Oh yeah.
And these motorcycles were going out on the track and they had like a 3.5-inch wide tire that was made by the lowest bidder.
Yeah.
But they had 112 horsepower. And they were driven by a guy wearing basically the leather version of spandex because they'd not figured out armor yet. Right. And the guy would go into the hay bales at 118 miles an hour. And they would hold him up like this and dangle his leathers because all the bones inside of him are spaghetti now. That was motorcycle racing.
Well, and also, so like they're like, "Who's your sponsor?" And it's like the sponsor, the whole company's worth like $70,000, but then you have El Chapo on the side, like.
Well, and they had to stop running these things because the scavengers, like the sand people, were coming out of the desert.
Right. Oh yeah.
And like taking that one pot shot at him and then collecting $500,000 worth of motorcycle or chase truck or whatever the fuck they were doing. So the fact that now it's just Ponzi rich British assholes doing it in the middle of the fucking thing, this just seems to me like an opportunity for the drug cartels to really take advantage of the situation.
And it's completely like these guys are fucking not in it because the one dude has a 3/4 helmet.
Oh,
and you are not racing fucking Dakar.
Okay, but I went to the Bespoke Rally's website, which this story hasn't hit the news yet on their own website.
Bespoke is the fucking European version of artesian, which means it's fucking douchebaggery.
Bespoke means it's built for you.
Yeah, right.
So bespoke means we took this Bentley and we did what you told us to do to it.
Right.
And you gave us way too much money. So now it costs what 5 Bentleys cost.
Right.
and nobody will give you a nickel for it later because you made it purple.
And you have no talent, and you hired us because you have a lot of money. Right.
Yeah. So these things are hilarious, but realistically, this whole thing, if you look at these pictures and everything about it, this is vintage rally car racing. This is all this super fun, cool shit. But this isn't us doing like a Babe rally on a $500 budget. No. This is like the dude doing it in the Lancia or the Volvo or whatever, and like straight up legit. You will not find anybody doing this rally that doesn't have a castle.
Right.
Like this is it. I mean, this is for people who have castles.
So it says 4,000 miles, 21 days. So it's like a round up to like 200 miles a day.
200 miles a day.
Yeah, that's not well off road.
Tank and a half of gas.
Nah.
Right.
But what is the terrain? Because 200 miles of gnarly off road can be like 12 hours.
Yeah, I can tell you that 200 miles days I've had have been remarkably short. Some 200 miles a day I've had have been the longest day of my life.
200 miles on 71 South.
Right.
It's like you could literally read a book while you're driving it.
It depends where you go. But yeah, they're saying so it goes through Spain.
But what I can tell you about bespoke rallies is proof that dentists have time off. Because they've got a lot of these fucking things scheduled. I mean, they have done tons of these rallies. And this company that's doing it, it is all about like extraordinarily expensive cars being driven by people that have enough money to pay to fix them when they've rubbed against their buddy. You don't see too many rallies that feature like, 12-cylinder E-types. And that's when you get into like, wow, okay. That's
like the Woodward thing or whatever, the Festival of Speed or whatever it's called.
The Festival of Speed.
Yeah.
And there's many hill climbs that are similar way. And, I like when you look at an event and you go, oh, well, which Jaguar was it? Oh, well, the green Jag broke down in turn 17. Which one? Yeah. This is cool, though. I like this shot, if you guys are looking at this.
Yeah,
so I think the two vehicles on the end there, those two Toyotas, I think those are chase vehicles, right? Yeah. But then everything else is different, various levels of
Mad Max.
Yeah, for real. And then there's another Toyota here on the end. So really, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people paid for that 1, 2, 3 Toyotas.
Jeez, bring me my scotch. I've seen to have broken my car. I expect it to be running tomorrow at 7 a.m. when I leave.
Yeah, and this is like, in the middle of it all, it's like a pre-war Chrysler. There's like a 5-window...
Bubble top,
Yeah, there's like that's a pre-war like
like a
Dodge
gas
DeSoto.
This is going to be
about
something like that might be a special car.
This is going to be just like when Smith raced the barrel. He's going to race the barrel races at Mid Ohio on his Janus this year.
Oh yeah!
He's going to need miles of
you
cocaine.
Ain't living until you've done barrel racing. All I can say is that's when we'll bust out the PA system.
Yes, sir.
And that's right,
$9.49. It took that long.
Yeah. If I go through my Corvette, I might be able to find you 1 or 2 inches of cocaine.
What was that? I sent you that when you got the car. What was it? Like your car doesn't get gas mileage; it gets line mileage.
Handles like it's on rails.
You're like, oh, check it out. There's no vanity mirror. No, but there's one in the glove box. Yeah.
Tap.
Hey, John,
open up the owner's manual and a razor blade came out. What the fuck?
John, why does your glove compartment have 15 expired credit cards on it?
This car's not allowed in Canada. Yeah. Again, support for Cleveland Moto Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. Who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champs of the world? Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide and 75% of our podcast who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code ClevelandMoto, all one word.
Which will appear right down
here somewhere. If Steve can be bothered at 1 minute and 1 hour and 53 at manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com. Free shipping anywhere on planet Earth.
And they work great if you're on a Coke binge and you want to shave your eyebrows. No problem.
Use the promo code ClevelandMoto.
Tell your friends. You got a big job interview tomorrow? Probably good to be streamlined.
There you go.
Takes off an extra, gets you like 2 or 3 mpg.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
definitely.
Yeah. Shave the back fur, be good to go. I think that's a brilliant idea.
So wait, before we go, or do anything like that.
Okay.
So not our Chris Smith, but other Chris Smith.
Right.
What do you got? Do you have anything you want to add? You drove 72 hours to be here and listen to us.
Drove 72 hours to pick up mini bikes. Yeah.
Tell us a story. I want to hear another story.
Oh Jesus. Fuck. Pullover story to go back to what you're kind of.
Excellent. Let's hear it.
I'm like 16. No, I was 17. I had a 88 Hawk 650.
Yeah, GT 650 Hawk, man.
Yeah, great
Good
little
bike.
bike.
Yeah.
Fucking great bike.
Living in Topeka, Kansas. I was out way north. It was April-ish, which is sometimes hot, sometimes cold as fuck, but it's in the hills.
Right.
So warm, fucking cold.
Yeah.
Warm, fucking cold.
Yep.
So I leave this little town, and I'm just fucking lay into it.
What color was it?
Blue.
Blue. Yeah.
So lay into it, fucking leaving this little podunk town. And I'm 15 miles away from that town I left. Mm-hmm. And I've been hugging the bike the whole time because I'm freezing my ass off.
Yeah.
I'm probably dressed like this because I'm a dumbass kid.
Yeah. No, we didn't know about gear back then.
No.
No.
And I did have a helmet. I know I had a helmet because
You were ahead of
I'd
most
already,
of us.
well, and I had already gotten pulled over for no helmet and had to walk like 10 miles.
Shit.
Like
John, he beat your 7-mile walk.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't push the bike. I parked that bitch.
Oh, okay.
I left the fucking bike. It was a decent part of town. Left the fucking bike.
So he's smarter than you, too.
I think just about anybody's smarter than me.
I pushed my Super Hawk about 5 miles before. So.
Okay, good.
It was a shitty part of town. So anyway, back on 15 miles away from that town, and I hit a warm spot, so I poke up.
Where somebody had peed.
Yeah. But I glance in my mirror, and there's blue sex lights way behind me.
Way back.
So I'm like, fuck. And it's where I grew up. I know every road.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll shut it down. So I shut it down and kind of waited there.
Right.
And I'm waiting there for a while. So I'm waiting there, and guy pulls up. I had on a Canadian tuxedo. I remember. So the Buell had just done their launch, and I went and did a little test ride on a Buell a month or two before that. So I had the Buell T-shirt on. So I'm standing there, I'm waiting, and this guy gets up there and starts barking at me, and I'm 17. I'm scared shitless. And so he hands up, and I'm like this, and I step off the bike, helmet down to my light, and I helmet down the light. I turn around, he's got gun drawn and everything.
Wow.
It's a sheriff.
Right.
And I'm shitting. And then another cop car pulls up. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm going to jail. I'm done. So the one guy, the first guy, the sheriff, asked for all my shit. I give him everything he asked for, all my coke, whatever.
Right.
So I give him all my shit.
Right.
He goes to, talk to his buddies or whatever. The other guy comes up. It's hypo. I'm like, fuck, I'm done. He goes, yeah, he clocked you back at Valley Falls. I'm like, fuck.
How many miles is that?
It was like 15 miles away.
Oh my
goodness. Yes.
Okay.
They've been
like-
after you for a while.
I was like, what did he clock me at?
Yeah.
He goes, you were doing 75. Oh, that's it? Sweet.
Yeah.
And he goes, whoa, he thinks you're running.
No.
I was like,
Not even
no,
close.
No. I was like, you see, I'm sitting right here. I'm waiting.
Right.
I stopped.
Right.
I was like, I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I'm the definition of not running.
I could have blown you guys away
Right.
because evidently.
Clearly.
You were.
And so he sees the shirt and he goes, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's the new Buell, blah, blah, blah. It's Harley's little, sports bike. And we started talking about that, and he is cool as shit. He goes, I'll go talk to him.
Okay.
So he goes back and talks to him, and this guy's like, no, blah, you hear him kind of arguing.
Oh, yeah, because he's salty. He's
Right.
mad. Yeah.
He's convinced I was running drugs and trying to run from the cops or whatever. And So long story short, the hypo gets me out of everything.
Yeah, well, troopers do trump everything else.
Yeah.
So
He was
no matter
like,
where you are.
no, he wasn't running. He waited for you.
Right.
So, said cool bike.
Yeah.
Slow it down a little bit. Have a nice day.
That's so sweet.
And so, off I fucked.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So they never found the 4 ounces you had booted?
No.
While you waited.
Well, that's why I stopped, so I could do it right before they got cold. But yeah, so I mean, it was scary as shit.
So what did you learn from your experience that day?
Don't stop.
I mean, no.
Obey all traffic rules. Shit.
Look, man, we're going to replace this Chris Smith with that.
There's that moment when you think about I got 99 problems but a bitch ain't one.
Yeah.
There's that thing where it's like I look in the back, I look in the mirror, see the motherfucking law.
Oh yeah.
And you got a decision you make right then. Like that decision can change your life because you're like, well,
I can take him.
do I go for it? Well, let's think.
Yeah.
And honestly, the new Ford Explorers are fast as hell. So like, our police cars when I was a kid growing up, they go to 105 miles an hour, they just flip over. Like, because like police cars in the 80s and 90s, they get up to about 105, 106 miles an hour, and the light bar was so much drag, the whole car would just flip over, right? And if it was anything but a Dodge, you could outrun it. The Dodge, the weird thing was the Plymouth Grand Furies were unnaturally fast. But in the 80s, all the other cars were not good cars. Like the Ford LTD, I mean, I used to be a police officer. At 108 miles per hour, it actually inverted itself, right? And I hit a very small bump one time at 108 miles an hour in a police car, which was at maximum chooch. Like we were full on. And I hit a bump at that speed, and I swear to God, I did not hit the ground again for way too long.
Got some lift.
Yeah, because suspension in the 90s was like, it's got Eagle GTs on it, it's good to go. Like that was tuned suspension, was Eagle GT tires. That was every cop car. But now a Ford Explorer will go 145 with a soccer mom in it.
Yeah.
With the EcoBoost. And I'm sitting there going, well, okay, I own like 6 motorcycles. 2 of them will go faster than that. And I got to be like, okay. And they have nothing to lose.
Right.
And they have a camera. So it's either I saw a police department do a pit maneuver on a guy in a Dodge truck at like 109 miles an hour.
Wow.
That's murder.
Yeah.
Like
you're done.
You're like saying, we're doing 109 miles an hour because every minute a chase goes on, the police get more blood in their head. And it's just like, and it chokes all the rational thought out of their head. And they're like, I can catch him. And you're like, fuck it. The last time I ran from the cops was a while ago. And I saw the cop when I went past him. I was getting some dental work done, so I may have been under the influence of
dental work,
medical procedures.
He was huffing gas.
And it was cold. It was very cold. And I went past the cop at about 100. A respectable, even number. And then I was like, well, how long will it take him to get up to 100? A while. And if I go faster than 100, then he's got to go even that much faster than he was going. And I was like, okay, let's math this up real quick. But let's go fast while we're mathing. So I turned everything up, and I went real fast, and I got like 3 exits up. And then I ducked off the freeway and pulled into a car wash. On a motorcycle.
As you do.
It was cold. And so I pulled into the car wash on the motorcycle, and I just heard that go by, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I just hung out. And then I saw another police car go on the road I was on, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I was like, so I can't go either of those ways.
Did you look up and see 2 blinking stars turning to 3 and you were like, fuck, it's Grand Theft Auto?
And I did. I waited for about 25, 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, no action.
Got the bike washed.
And then I drove the absolute worst way home. Right. And I got pulled over like 10 minutes after I left. And the guy pulled me over and he's like, where are you from? And I was like, Avon Lake. Like, what are you doing out here? It's like, I'm visiting my buddy who lives in Vermilion. And he's like, Were you just on the freeway going about 120 miles an hour?
Not me.
No. That's a really weird question to ask somebody.
I would never do that. I'm going to church.
Well, I was like, why would you even ask me that?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, what the fuck? And I acted like it was the most obscene thing anyone ever asked me. It was like, no, I've been on Lake Road for the past half an hour. Right. I'm enjoying the beautiful day. It's 32 and snowing slightly. You know? And I'm like, fuck it. And the guy was like, okay, we kind of know it was you, but we really can't prove it was you. And we have to let you go right now. And it really pisses us off. And he didn't say it, but I could tell I ruined his day.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, so which way are you going? And I was like, well, I was just going to have a nice ride and go, enjoy the day. I got the day off. I'm off on Mondays. You should just go home. I was like, that's the best you can do is you should just go home. And I was kind of mad at him for not being creative. But I was just like, fuck it, I'll just go home. So I just went home. And so I went home, and on my way home, I passed like 3 more cop cars. And he'd called all those guys and been like, yeah, we checked out the guy in the blue bike. He's okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I rode by him all like, 1 under. Yeah.
So Duncan doesn't get away either yet.
No.
So you're here.
He's got to contribute.
You have to tell us a story.
So what bike would you take it in the ass for, Duncan? I'm sorry.
That's the other podcast.
Talk about which ones he wouldn't take it in the ass.
Well, I saw what he rode up on. Standards are pretty low.
As a fellow GS 850 owner, I say fuck you.
I haven't made up my opinion yet.
And so does the rest of the ARP card community. Yeah. Congratulations.
Dude, it took them 2 days to send me the fucking ARP invitation. I turned 50 and I got the ARP invitation 2 days later.
Yep. They got a whole special row for you guys at Mid-Ohio. Yep. Golf carts. All right. So
I worked at, I'll just give you my whole story. I'm 21, what the hell do I know? But I worked over at the Triumph dealership in high school, just washing their bikes, doing bullshit.
This one right here?
Yeah, that one right there, right as they
Really?
opened up.
They opened like a week ago? Like, how long?
No.
2 years.
Yeah. And
I worked there in high school 3.5 weeks ago.
That was like 47
my
years
junior
ago.
and senior year.
yeah. No,
So wait,
I went in there.
a motorcycle porter at Triumph?
Yeah, about a week after they opened, I went in there with my friend, and we're just checking it out, seeing what it is. We didn't have any bikes at that point. We were just bullshitting with them. Right. And he was like, "Oh, you want a job here? You wash our bikes, $9 an hour." And I'm like, "Oh."
And Ray literally got you to work there.
Yeah, he did. Like
for $9 an hour
on the spot. Yeah,
to wash bikes.
So like 3-4 times a week after school, I would wash bikes I washed yesterday.
Yeah.
And they would always fart the shit out of me because I didn't have a bike, and they kept on trying to push this fucking Rebel 250 on me, and I'm like, no, I can't afford it. B, I don't want it.
Right.
And
nobody wants a Rebel 250. You kind of fall into it.
If you're gonna give me hepatitis, at least let her be cute.
Well, by that point, I was on like my 6th 80cc motorized bike kit.
Right. Yeah.
I built like a shit ton of those.
Right.
And they always like, oh, this is loud. It's stinky. It's like get the hell out of here. And so that was my start of bikes. And then I bought like a really piece of shit Kawasaki KZ440.
Yeah.
Well done.
It was $1,000. I was just desperate.
Right.
And I got it down to $700. I'm like, I got a good deal. And then I get it home and it's got a rod knock, and it's like it's a $200 parts bike later in like 6 months. It's down to the frame, whatever. had a bad title,
Oh!
Yeah, I fucked myself with that. But
there is no part number for new title.
No, but how much did you learn from all that?
Absolutely nothing. That's where it's going. Lo and behold, friend of a family's of a friend. He said a little bit of a dirty notary. I can push things around a little bit.
Friendly. We use the term friendly notary.
Friendly notary.
A friendly notary.
Yeah.
Friendly.
Statute of limitations notary.
Right. Exactly.
But anyways, I get that in.
It was 4 weeks ago, but it's totally cool.
He worked at Triumph when he was in high school.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then I bought another bike. I bought a 72 DT250 because I needed that, of course.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And also, I bought it from the guy that the name was on the title.
Right.
And I was like, cool, whatever. And then he's just like, oh, do we need to go to a notary? You know, it's whatever. I'm like, no, I know a guy. It's whatever. Come back. Anyways, this, you know, distinguished gentleman, unnamed, it's like, he'd gone through miscellaneous legal troubles himself. He's somewhere out of the state, you know. I swear to God, you know, he's like in Florida. No longer notary, can't do it. This guy,
Did the bike have 4 pounds of coke underneath the seat by chance?
4 pounds of cow shit, apparently. It was a race bike. It was really cool. That's why I liked it. And so that title's, you know, screwed halfway to hell. And then I'm like, all right, cool. You know, have I learned my lesson? No. So I go out and buy that bike, and it's like a New York title. And this guy that I bought it from, aside from not knowing there was like 8 quarts of oil in it, you know, I didn't know what the title situation was. And it was like, oh, it's, you know, it's a New Jersey title. It's like, you just take it there, it's done, whatever. Like, no. And so I go through a whole bunch of bullshit with that, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
Do you actually have a titled bike yet?
Yes, both of the KZ is titled at this point.
Right.
I mean, how I got there is questionable, but I am here.
Well, again, nobody really cares about, you know, nobody's going to ask you to show your math.
Yeah.
In this situation, it's title or no title. It's a bit it's totally at that point. It's just, well, I know that at some point you didn't have a great title, but now you do. And that's cool. And if you don't, you got a green license plate from Vermont. You know, you'll be okay. That's it.
And he was in front of me and behind me and to the side of me and to the front of me on the DGR. And he did a great job. And his girl was with him. And they're all still alive.
They're all still alive.
He's doing great.
Survived the DGR.
Yep.
The world's shortest DGR.
Right.
The somebody told us that there was one DGR that was shorter, and there was one DGR that Brian had organized, and he likes to ride through neighborhoods and, you know, like in the city of Cleveland. And I think we made it as far as Little Kings on that road. That was the one I was dressed up in a Livingston. Like I had my safari hat on, and I had a big fuck off knife.
Bill.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd done a full safari thing, and we'd gone on that ride, and that ride was all through, you know, Cleveland. And we'd ended up at Little Kings, and I was just like, my God, this place still exists. So apparently you can run a business for 50 years on just failure and cheap beer.
I had a Little Kings at Little Kings.
Yeah, it was crazy. And 100 people fell into a bar that holds 12 people.
Right.
And it was just savagery. It was devastating. So you've got the KZ 440 still.
Or the frame of it, right? Or the
I've got the full running bike. You know, I'm broke ass college student. I can't justify having like 3 bikes registered.
Is it a later than 1980 KZ?
It's an 82 with the built out of 81 parts. The parts bike that I bought for the parts bike I bought for $200. Even though it came in like milk crates, every single thing on it was nicer than the one I bought.
Nice.
But,
so does it have the ridiculous seat that you see in that picture?
Yes, it is that exact same one.
I kind of thought it might be.
When I bought it, it didn't have any of that shit. And
Right.
but I liked it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I put all of it on.
Right.
And now it's pretty sharp looking.
We had a discussion many years ago, and I was like, okay, so there's going to be a period of time when I'm going to know that I'm officially old, is when motorcycles from 1983 become cool to people who are 20 years old.
But I'm also 50 and I like motorcycles from 1983. So
Yeah, okay, all right.
I have no taste. So okay.
Well, that's fair too.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's cool.
Good point. You have a point there.
Yeah, that's the way that works. And it's an interesting thing. So I'm always curious to see what the next generation of people, because we did see that all that weird neon stuff from 1984 and 1985, et cetera, that was so powerful when I was that age, is making a nice run at it again. Yeah.
Do you think that affordability comes into play? Because all the 70s stuff is now like bikes
Priceless.
that we could get for $200 are now $75,000.
That shit is priceless.
Right.
But this bike's got mags.
Does?
Right? And this bike's got a goddamn solid motor. I mean, the KZ440 motor is without fucking sin.
Yep.
So that's true. And you can buy that for, well, you know, we'll see at Mid-Ohio because Creepy Unkie Phil's tent of despair is going to be live and well. Roll up and run into some shit in my tent and be like, well, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $100 for it, and I'll let you see a picture of my wife's beaver.
So, deal. Our friends at Motorcycles and Misfits are really digging the whole theme podcast right now. They keep picking themes. Like their new theme is like the best military motorcycle, which I don't give a fuck about. But how about this? So every year at Mid-Ohio, or every whatever, there's always like the bike that becomes the bike. Like many years ago, as you guys know, the Trail 70 became like, oh my God, it's $5,000 for.
Yep.
In your opinion, Phil, with all your years' experience, and then John, you dip in, what's going to be the bike this year? What is the, oh my God, this is the coolest thing, everybody has to have it bike?
I hate to do it, but is this going to be the bike that we're going to be looking for this year? Or do we going to be like, this is the bike that you're like, I can't believe I saw another one of those?
Well, what I'm saying is that you told me a bunch of years ago, you took like 57 Trail 70s, and all of a sudden they were selling like hotcakes and you couldn't keep them in. And you were like, holy shit, right?
Yeah.
So like those have peaked, but they're still really high end, and like you're not getting one for $400, $500, but everybody wants them. So what is the bike at Mid Ohio this year that people are like, they don't know it's cool, but people are gonna suck them up and like whatever.
Three-wheelers or quad runners?
You think that's it?
Yeah. I think that's a safe one.
If anybody shows up with some off-road type stuff that's cheap, because you can't buy anything right now. I mean, Steve and I were looking at trying to buy quads. You can't buy a new one in a dealership.
No.
And anything used, especially if it's a 4x4 quad, it's like $4,000.
So quads, because
no matter how beat it is,
nothing you can buy at a dealership.
Really beat, ratty, and that's $2,800.
Okay.
Like you can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
My prediction is going to be completely wrong.
No, probably not.
I want it to be. I want it to be this way. I want the Honda Hawk 400. This bike it deserves to have its day in the sun.
It doesn't suck.
I have hated this bike for 40 years. Okay? Like straight up,
suck.
I don't like this bike.
That's a fine.
I don't like it.
It's fair.
I don't like anything about it. I don't like
not
the
handsome.
I don't
It's
like
not a pretty bike.
The hatch on top of the gas cap. I don't like that. I don't like the shape of the seat. I don't like the stupid side panels.
That's what a Goldwing fucked. What did the Goldwing fuck? It fucked something.
It's an awful motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
And it's just
It kinda
is. It's that
Didn't
era.
they make a later one that was like, it was actually, there was a black and orange one.
No, it was like this. It was like the 750. I almost bought
It
one.
was a CM 450 though, maybe. Like
So
it
you get
was
into the
a little bit more like
That one.
Chris's.
Yeah, that. Well, there's that.
The 1981. It's the Buck Rogers Hawk.
Yep. I
So you
almost
get the
bought
Buck
one.
Rogers Hawk, and I mean, okay, that kind of gets a pass because it's kind of like a CD 750F.
It's completely like a CV 750.
Yeah, okay.
Except
But anyway.
for it's, it has no balls.
I'm talking about this one.
Oh yeah.
The color on the Honda Spectrum is called Mooch Blue. It's not really called Mooch Blue. I made that up.
Is it?
It's called Mooch Blue.
That color says I forgot my wallet.
That color does say I forgot my wallet. Will you buy me a sandwich?
Pendejo blue.
That color is not the color of success.
No.
And I predict, or I anticipate, that a lot of these bikes are going to come out of the woodwork because I think there might be a certain element of young people who think this is cool. They're wrong, but they might think this is cool.
So wait, so
I
here's
agree.
the thing. So if it hits Craigslist, put your thumb over the back seat, and that's going to be a terrible fucking cafe race.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's the other
terrible.
thing is that most of these have been cut off right there.
Yeah, right.
What I want to know is what's on the back of that picture. What the fuck is that thing?
Oh, there's a golf cart. There's a giant camper. So there's a big fuck off camper with a golf cart parked behind it and some scaffolding. So, and then looking at the polished concrete floor, that dude's got shit tons of money.
Yeah, that scaffolding is just to polish the top of the RV.
That's in his garage-ominium.
Yeah.
Right. That picture is taken in the dude's garage-ominium. Yeah, that's one of those things. His wife doesn't know about anything in that building. But yeah, so that's that. And here's another picture of a Honda Hawk in front of an RV. You know? That's the point is every fucking Honda Hawk ever is in the hands of somebody who's just about to die. And there we go. Christmas out. We'll see you Christmas.
Yeah, Chris.
This is my thing that I think the time has come for the Honda Hawk, not the good Honda Hawk like the GT650,
Right. Nope.
not the super Honda Hawk like either the 305 or the 1000.
Nope.
But the pathetic Hawk,
Yep.
the sad Hawk. Yeah.
Now,
Look
what
at
year
those
was
handlebars.
what year was that Nighthawk?
So the Nighthawks ran forever.
Well, there's a bunch of versions of them too.
Yes,
they have the
they have.
Nighthawk S, which is kind of cool, but you know.
Yeah. And there was a Nighthawk 450.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there was
I kind of like the tank on it. It had like the chrome pinstripe.
So the Nighthawk 450 had the chrome embellishment on the gas tank, which did the Nighthawk 650 as well. But it is that same motor that they put in the Honda Rebel 450.
Mm-hmm.
They put in a lot of different motorcycles, and so those
And then they had the S, but the S had the small front wheel. It was like a 16 or.
There was a little bit
ridiculous.
of weird shit that happened there for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
There was some weird Nighthawk S action. And and a lot of people will do that. They'll claim that the
I think it's 750.
that's a 750. Or remember, there's also the Tariff Beater. There was also the Tariff Beater 700.
Right. So that's the one everybody likes.
So how you know the good ones is it has the letters SC after it. So the Tariff Buster was the 84 through 86 ish CB 700 SC, and it had everything.
I've wanted one of those for a while.
Yeah, and they came in your choice of black with red or black with blue, and then the super elusive blue, white, and red.
Yeah.
So that is the RWB, and that's RW is red, white, and blue. So those motorcycles are
black chrome exhaust.
Black again. Only Honda could do that. Fucking dude. Black chrome exhaust.
Yeah, right.
Black chrome mirrors.
It's
black
like, take that,
chrome
Harley.
fork legs. Black chrome. Do you know what black chrome is? It's black. It's black. I checked. It's black. Do you know how much chrome's in it? None.
None.
It's black.
Just
It's black.
lightly shot.
No. It's black.
Okay.
You know what black is? It's a color.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. There is no such thing as black chrome.
Right.
So, it is, you have things like black oxide coatings. There are industrial coatings that are black and also give you a resilient finish.
Right.
But in this particular instance, it's painted.
Right.
Yeah, it is what it is. But the black chrome. It's black chrome, baby.
That's not a bad looking bike. I actually like that. But look at the front wheel. What is it? A 16?
16.
Or, something.
It is
It's
16
crazy.
of those.
Like, so your tire
I've
selections
had a
are-
couple of these over the years, and I've listened to people fall and trip all over their dicks talking about what an amazing motorcycle this is, and I'm like, nope, no. Didn't go. It wasn't particularly fast. Didn't turn particularly well. Didn't stop good at all. Like
It had a fairing.
It wasn't a great motorcycle. And again, I've not had one of them. I've had many of them. And many of these things have darkened my fucking door.
So what do you think? Would it look better with a round headlight?
Well, again,
82 is the best.
82 is the best. 82 is the fastest. The
charging issues.
The charging issues. Again, this did have the Honda igniters.
Right.
So this had two of the Honda igniters. The Honda igniters are one of those things that were like, well, my bike's not running great. I think the carburetors are dirty. No, it's the igniters. Yeah. Oh, my bike's not running great. I think it could be the spark plugs. No, it's the igniters. My bike's not running great. It ran great on the way here, but now I had a soft beverage and I can't drive home. It's the igniters. Like, it was just one of those things. Like, that motorcycle just had a really pathetic 1980s electronic ignition system. Like, it just wasn't great. And if you love them, and that's cool that you love them because they do have a unique look about
And
them.
they're sexy. They're cool looking,
Yeah, it's very funny because it's very squared off.
Yeah.
Like, it's very Lego, and it's still a CB750.
Right.
So it's like, there's a lot of things to like. But again, Dohawk, like the dual overhead cam Honda 750 motor, always felt to me like it was fighting with one hand tied behind its back. Because I've never ridden a dual overhead cam 700 or 750 that felt like it was giving me Suzuki performance or Yamaha performance. They always felt like they were like, well, we could have given you more power, but we're Honda and we don't take those chances.
But Suzuki's like, we don't mind oil leaks.
Well, I think Suzuki and Yamaha, I think the other companies at the time with their motors kind of said, well, how long do you want to own it anyway?
Right.
Whereas Honda was like,
I'm for a good time, not a long time.
Right, exactly. Every motorcycle Honda built ever was like, okay, well, first it has to last 300,000 miles.
Right.
And you're like, come on, man. No.
Right.
No.
It's going to get wrecked before that.
Exactly, right. A little less Mercedes, a little more Dodge. It's like, let's be here for a minute, but be spectacular. Yeah. Let's do some stupid shit. Like, and that's what it was. And that motorcycle, again, people go bananas for it. And all right.
Well, thanks, Duncan, for sending us down this tube.
Hey, man. Oh, do you know what I just bought the other day, though?
What'd you
I
buy?
just bought a Nighthawk 250.
Well done.
If you're going to fail spectacularly.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what I thought was the most ironic thing about this Nighthawk 250?
No.
Full touring luggage. Full touring luggage.
Wow, out of 250.
Out of Nighthawk 250.
That's ambition. Nothing else.
ambition.
So what was her name?
And a sissy bar.
Oh, wonderful.
So a sissy bar and full touring luggage on a bike with a drum front brake.
And what was her wife's name?
Again, I have no idea. Dude, that is seriously. I went over and looked at this motorcycle and the guy was like, undisclosed sum of money, right? And but it wasn't much. And it wasn't so much that in the negotiation process of buying this motorcycle, I went, I can't actually cut him in half at this point. Because I was like, I went in there thinking I'm going to cut the guy in half.
Right.
And then he wheeled the bike out and I couldn't cut him in half.
Wow.
Because I don't think they make currency that way. Like, we need to go to a different country to get to a place where they parse currency. Exactly. I was like, shit, fucking pesos it is. All right, here we go. But the long and short of it is the guy was like, produce the title, produce both keys.
Wow.
Nice.
What about the toolkit and the owner's manual?
I got the toolkit and I got soft bags. I got a sissy bar. I got the world's worst slap-on windshield. And the guy was like, you know what? I'm 81 years old. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah,
I was like,
cool.
that makes a valid point. And he handed me the invoice from where another shop in town 2 years ago charged him $700 to make it run.
Wow.
And I looked at the invoice and I was like, you've been wronged.
Plus, you don't have to feel bad about the deal because the dude's going to be dead in like a week.
Well, honestly, I will give the guy credit. I came up to his yard and he was doing all of his own yard work.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, like I was out like embracing his yard and totally like getting into it and on his knees cutting stuff. And I was like, God damn it. And he got up and he's like, well, after my second stroke, my wife said I wasn't allowed to have a motorcycle anymore. And I was like, fucking dude, how much do you want for this bike?
game.
Like, just hurt me now.
Yeah.
And he's like, so what are you going to do with it? I said, I'm going to take it to mid-Ohio, ride it around in circles for a long time, get it really muddy and sell it on Sunday.
He's like, right on?
But he was like, okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool. Yeah. He bought it new.
Wow.
I don't even know what that would have cost. Like,
$7?
Too much.
yeah. You go into a dealership. Can you imagine the spirit of the time when you go into a dealership in like 1994? Again, probably wearing your Don Johnson white white sport coat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
You're like, I have $1,000 and I want a new motorcycle.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what
probably
it is.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And I can only imagine that.
And at that point, it's like, does it have a place to hide my Coke?
I worked in a dealership. I worked in a dealership in like 1984, 1985.
Yeah.
And I had no idea because I was just a 15-year-old kid working at a dealership. And I had no idea. Like, when somebody throws you the keys to a 1984 Interceptor and it's like, here, dumb shit, go fill it up with gas. You just think that's the way the world works.
Right.
You just think this is the lot I've been given in life. This is what it is. And you go down the street to the gas station in the semi-impoverished white neighborhood, and some guy pulls up in like a Lamborghini Countach that says Fiero underneath it. And you're like, I'm pretty cool. And you're like, wow, that whole era of the mid 80s was all just like fake. Like everything was fake.
Baby. Gordon Gecko all
It was
the way.
all just fake. Like the whole thing was fake.
Yeah.
Like the whole planet had been vinyl sided. Like there wasn't a hint of real stone anywhere. Yeah, it was just really weird. And I think that the motorcycles of that era were that way too. I feel like, it was that thing of like the Katana was spawned out of that of being like, look, if you squint, it looks like a GSXR.
No, it never did.
I remember one of the big things about the Ninja 250 was they were like, when they came out in 86 or 87, they were like, and we didn't put the word 250 on it anywhere.
My first arrest ever.
I like that ever.
The first good start.
It came from racing a Katana at Tinkers Creek Park.
Yeah.
I had my CBR.
At the racetrack they have there.
No, the park.
My point exactly.
Yeah, right. So like, every Saturday you get there at 8 a.m. and you wax your bike, and all the pretty girls.
Would that have been in the metro parks?
Oh yeah.
So that's a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit.
100%. And so every Saturday we go there with our bikes. I had an '87 Honda Hurricane 600 F1, and it was like my dream. I worked 4 years cutting grass.
Well, back then they weren't F1s.
Well, no,
they were just
Honda
Fs.
Hurricane. Right. Yeah,
it was just a CB 600F.
Right.
Because the concept of there being an F2 or F3 or
it didn't even
F4 never even happened yet.
But it was red and white, and I think you guys have seen the picture. I had my fucking jacket and everything. With
Again,
the bike.
you had the denim tuxedo.
Oh yeah. So I was in the park waxing my bike, and like when the Gixxers showed up, I was jealous of them, and I didn't say shit because I had a 600cc Honda.
Right.
And it was a great bike, but it wasn't that.
It wasn't that.
But then a can of tuna showed up and said, my bike's faster than yours. And I said, fuck you, it's not. And he said, well, then prove it. And I said, let's go. We didn't know that there was a horse cop in the woods that had written everybody's license plate down and had called ahead and said, hey, some fucking 18-year-old morons are going to race through the park. You should probably arrest them. So we went, and I was hitting 110, 115, and the guy, I was beating him and everything like that. And then I saw cop cars at the end, right before Bedford, right at the end.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So I stop.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He slides through the grass, skids by. The cops come, grab me, dump my bike, they throw me on the ground, the whole nine. You're running all this stuff. So I got drag racing, fleet evading, 4 red lights, or 4 stop signs, crossing a double yellow line, reckless operation, all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
They towed my bike. The tow truck came up, put 2 straps around the back wheels, lifted it up, and let it hang upside down and smash into the tow truck as it drove away. I had to call my dad, who was a Marine that hated me. And
oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Picked me up and took me home. And I was really depressed until the cop said, look, I know you're having a bad day, but the guy that ran, we had your plates way before you started.
Yeah.
There's 15 cops waiting at his house. And when he gets home, he's going to jail.
Yeah, he is.
And so I lost my license for a year and a half, and I had to sell my first motorcycle and all that stuff. But so, yeah, I'm very familiar with that whole time.
Do you know that the whole story starts, like your downfall is from a guy on a horse?
Yeah.
I mean, really, what happened was there was a guy on a horse, and the only advantage he had was he knew you guys were dipshits.
Yeah, right.
Like, honestly, like...
And the whole thing is we did this for the clout of like trying to get women to like us. And none of the women give a fuck about any of that at all.
No.
And the dude with the fucking car that was a convertible with 4 seats drove away with the girl.
Well, of course he did.
We got nothing.
Yeah, because when you're driving under suspension, the girls won't get in your car.
And the dude with like the actual 12-inch cock, he was on the Gixxer 750 and he didn't have to do anything. Yeah. Because everybody's like, oh yeah, that bike's fast. I'm not fucking with that.
I'm not fucking with that.
Right.
Right.
But also the bottom feeders.
Well, again, the guy who's like the giant guy who looks like he knows how to fight never has to fight. Never has to fight.
So the dude with the 1100, the blue white 1100, he just sat there fucking
exactly. Yeah. Well, but then again, he was 40.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in those circles, there's always that one creepy 40-year-old guy
that's banging
that hangs out around the high school guys. That's not good.
No.
He's the only one that can afford the insurance.
That's exactly
true.
I remember because I went and tried to get a 750 when I was 17, 18. And
it was insane.
The guy at the dealership was like, yeah, sure, we'll get you one right now. And my insurance guy said, fuck you.
Can I tell you that after a year after I got my license back, I had to work 2 jobs to drive a Chevy Malibu.
Yeah.
Because my insurance was so terrible. So before we go, can we thank everybody that
absolutely? Yeah, you guys came out. That was super fun, super cool. I hope it was everything you wanted it to be.
No, can we thank you?
That's exactly. I'm going to drink more of your grandparents' whiskey though before we go.
Yes,
because that did go down quite well.
Yeah,
and I heard Dan Kromke was sending out the call earlier. I just heard that the Mr. Tinkly glass.
He's going to tell us all 17 tastes and flavors in the back end and the front end and everything in a little bit. So that's going to come later. Good. We did still want to turn it into a whiskey podcast, so he's going to reserve that.
We've had some people comment and be like, you guys for a whiskey podcast, you're not a particularly good whiskey podcast.
No, you keep talking about motorcycles. It's terrible.
For a whiskey podcast, you guys sure talk a lot about motorcycles.
Right.
And meanwhile, Dan's sitting over there's like, I'm wasted on these guys. I'm completely wasted on these dudes. And I'm like, no, you're wasted with us.
Yeah, right.
You're wasted. I've never known him to do a podcast sober.
No.
No.
It's impossible.
Exactly.
In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen Dan sober ever.
I did once.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw him once.
He's
I don't know
retired.
that
You're
there's any
allowed. This
difference.
is
He
his
gets one of the
job.
ones.
I've never seen a difference between Dan sober or Dan drunk.
I was
That
going to
is
say,
true.
so you can't tell the
There's no-
difference.
I was going to say, I think he's been locked in.
You
He's been
can't
locked into
tell.
this since about 81.
True.
Here's a clue. The quieter I get, the drunker I am.
So that's why you say like 4 words a
He
podcast.
becomes invisible. No, because he does the bourbon podcast before this one.
Oh, that's right.
He's coming out of the bourbon podcast when he gets here, so he's already wheels up at 35,000 feet when he shows up.
So he's the
The
Phil.
stewardess has brought the drinks tray by and everything. He's fucking flying.
He's probably the Phil of the bourbon podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He's Mr. Captain fucking talking a
He's
lot.
on target.
Yeah?
Yeah. Then he comes
Okay.
into here to just wind down.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
We're
got
just
it
the
now.
drag chute, slowing him down. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is, man.
Straightens him out, sends him right in the
sends him right down the
Yeah.
proper path and everything.
Drag shoot, drag queen. What's the difference?
What's the Hey, so you know
counting?
that there's a crazy thing they're doing AIM, the motorcycle show thing.
Yeah, we used to go to Columbus.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they're doing all that shit, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then they're gonna do the remember the international motorcycle shows things that they used to do,
Yeah.
but then they cut Cleveland out of the equation.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so they're still doing that in Chicago, I guess.
In Sword?
Yeah, I guess so. So anyway, but the week after that, they're gonna come to Cleveland. Well, just part of them, the Zero truck. So Zero is gonna bring their 18-wheeler to Cleveland, and we're gonna do all kinds. That's why I had this fucking thing parked out here with the big TKC 80s on it and everything else. Yeah. Anyway, just fucking getting stupid on electric bikes. But that will put you on your ass in a second, by the way. If you weren't sure if 80 foot-pounds of torque would do something with knobbies on it, yeah, it will. Yeah. That's a great way to forget your childhood is get on that bike without a helmet on.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll forget your childhood instantly. Yeah. It's the first time that bike goes upside down on you. But anywho, Zero's doing some crazy crap right now. So if you can find an unsuccessful Zero dealer or an ambitious one like me, they got some 2020s hiding around the country. Like there's no 2020s at the factory. No, they're barely getting enough bikes built now. But there are some Zero dealers in America that didn't they just don't know which way the wind's blowing, right? And so there's these dudes that have these 2020s hiding in their inventories. You can get like $2,200 off a Zero if it's last year's. And I know within like a certain radius of us here in Cleveland, Ohio, of 11 of them. And then they started this crazy thing called Cash for Carbon, which I call Cash for Clunkers.
That's for clunkers,
right?
yeah.
So you bring them anything with a VIN or promise to, and they'll give you an additional $1,500 off. So not for nothing, but right now at the moment, that's a very easy $3,700. So $3,700 off. So if you or anybody you know was thinking about buying an electronic motorcycle, this might be a good time to talk to somebody like me or one of your local Zero pals about it, because there's also weird first responder, medical, educational discounts that can be thrown on top of that. And what I'm suggesting is this might be the time. I know everything else in the world right now has gone crazy with inflation and motorcycle companies don't have bikes, but I know where there are certain 2020s hiding. If somebody wanted to buy an electric motorcycle, they could buy one for stupid cheap money, like under Kelly Blue Book for used, for a brand new bike with a warranty. That just happened. They just announced that shit today. So an extra $1,500 on top of the demo discount, which was up to $2,200, and they're not taking away your up to $500 or $1,000 discount for being some sort of a, first responder, motorcycle educator, motorcycle class taker. Wait a second, hold on. You mean if I take the motorcycle class, I could save $1,000 on a motorcycle? Yeah. Yeah, that's for real. That's like a legit thing. You could save $1,000 for taking a class you should take anyway. So that's fucking cool. If you had an ID from your friend that was in the military or law enforcement or a hospital worker or something, or carried a cadaver once, like you could have that ID and that would save you like $500 to $1,000 on a motorcycle. So that's fucking weird, but that's going on right now. And I didn't expect that this year. So this year, if you have any friends that have motorcycle shops, you'll know that this year's been the year of like, thank you. I'd like to pay my mortgage, but I only have your deposit. I can't get the rest of your money until I have the rest of the bike here to sell you, you know? And we've had this problem of we have the best intentions, but we have no inventory.
Right.
And that's been a problem. So in this particular instance, there's some bikes out there. So if you wanted to get weird and go electric, this would be a good time to do it. Because then I honestly think you could try it around for try it for a year. And if it didn't work out for you, you're probably going to still sell it for more than you paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And that's kind of cool. That's an interesting thing. Like you don't buy it at full boat. You buy it at like $3,000 off. You got some wiggle room. You own it for a year. It's like renting a bike for free.
And
so.
and to this day, I don't own an electric motorcycle, but you've let me ridden several.
Yeah.
And the smile has never left it's so insane.
And Zero's going to do the thing with the 18-wheeler for us this year. So we got to find a big enough parking lot that they can be there for 2 days, which means, drinking and eating and festivities and, punk rock band in the corner kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds good.
So we got to find a parking lot that's big enough to do that because they won't do it out here.
No.
No. So 18-wheeler won't fit out here.
No.
So we got to find a bigger parking
Our
lot.
cars for the podcast don't fit out here.
We were joking. I was like, okay, I'm trying to think of all the people I know that own places that have giant parking lots that would be okay with an 18-wheeler being there and then a bunch of idiots being there.
Right.
And then for 2 days, I was like, we can make this happen.
Yeah, somebody has.
We can do this. This will be cool. And have literally a one brand bike show.
Yeah.
We can all still show up and be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But then they'll be there with their bikes and be like, oh, you got to sign up and take a ride. We'll take a ride. And it'll be
can 100% say in my entire life, I've never not shown up somewhere and not been stupid.
Exactly. Look, I got a Harley Davidson hat up there that John and I had to work really, really hard to get those Harley Davidson hats. But we did. We showed up and we were stupid.
Excellent.
And that was great. And I went and rode their bikes and all that other stuff too. But I got a Harley Davidson hat out of the deal.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a hilarious hat because that's the Harley Davidson 750 made in India.
Oh.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No. I'm not going to claim ownership to that. I did go to the Harley dealer the other day and I went in and that was the only bike they had. So I was like, you never realize how big that fucking place is until you walk in.
And there's nothing
in it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I could hear my pulse.
But did they double down on t-shirts?
They did have a lot of gear. There are a lot of lifestyle accessories. Now, though, instead of giving you the dog bowl and the dog vest and the dog collar, they just gave you the dog too. So, here's a dog you can accessorize because we have no bikes for you.
His name is Harley.
Of course it is. Yeah. And I went in, and the only bikes they had, all the Indian bikes that were at the back of the showroom, hidden in the back, they had mysteriously migrated closer to the front doors. Yeah. So it's very strange.
Did they have the 750s pulled off and the 1200 slapped on?
It's just like a Sportster.
Right.
I promise you, it's just like a Sportster.
Runs better.
It's a V-twin.
Right.
It's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about that.
We didn't sell these because most people were scared of them.
That's true.
I was like, are you a man enough?
Well, there's only a certain number of Harley Davidsons that are liquid cooled. It's just a technology that most people weren't ready for yet.
So let me end this thing on this. So I was digging around I couldn't sleep one night and I wanted to watch a documentary.
Yeah.
Right. And so this thing came up and it was like an intense documentary about a bike gang called the Laughing Devils. And I was like, oh, okay, this sounds good. And I turned it on and it is, so some producer in Hollywood was like, Sons of Anarchy did really well.
Oh, geez.
And that's a scripted show. We should make a show that's scripted but looks like a documentary. So they had me fooled for about 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? And look, these people are getting mad about, oh yeah.
Okay. Was it a mockumentary?
First of all,
No, it's worse than a mockumentary.
Oof.
It's a straight up script.
And the worst thing is this is like the Black Windows Motorcycle Club where it's like there was a spelling error and they just ran with it.
Yeah.
The Devil's to Kiffles.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I got so mad that I wasted a half an hour of my life watching it.
Yeah.
But the third season gets better.
And there you go. I like this quote. Unlike the popular television show Sons of Anarchy, the show The Devil's Ride was shot in a reality documentary style format.
Yes.
If you're using the words reality documentary style
format,
yeah, that's
you've lost me.
Well, and the best part is the second season that was supposed to come back. The main dude actually got thrown off the show because in real life he had his stepdaughter blow him 5 times, and they became like they exiled him away from it. So it was
a reality documentary style format and promised viewers a look inside a rising real outlaw club. What is often seen can be described by many as simply fake.
Oh yeah,
it is in big quotation marks,
dude. They're like
fake. I'm going to tell you, if you're putting fake in quotation marks, no, that's the only honest thing you've said so far. That doesn't need to go in quotation marks.
Have you ever been to Smedley's and the guys standing there are like, I noticed that you have a 3-part patch on your back. You must be a real hardcore outlaw. Once you go there, you'll never come back.
Don't go to Disney, because I've seen so many Disney 3-part patches. Sons of Goofy, I mean, like that's a real fucking hardcore.
Dude, do not ever put a diamond on your motorcycle anywhere, because that shows that you're part of 1%ers, and somebody will call you out and kill you if you have a diamond on your motorcycle. I'm embarrassed.
Again, here we go, and
you're on season 3.
Well, season 3 was good. 4 was kind of failing me, so
Here you go, guys. Look out for the Main Street Elite there in Disneyland.
Oh, geez.
Because that's where that will get you.
Is that Renee in the bottom picture?
It could be right there. Yeah, that might be. Yeah, but that's a real thing. So
and James before.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is what we're talking about. If you want to get down and dirty with your patches, you want to get your cut all sorted out, all you need to do is hang out with the Disney guys, because that's right there. 'Cause to me, that's all I see now.
Yep.
Because if whether or not that was intended to happen, it's what happened. And it's beautiful because it has taken the piss hard. The Sons of Anakin, Disneyland, well done. Well done.
I want that cut.
Well fucking done. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta tell you.
I will punch a fucking mascot to get that cut.
Man, that shit makes me want to cut the sleeves off my Bugle Boy denim jacket.
Exactly.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah. Well, on that, I think we should all ride fast and take chances. Ba, 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 ba. Gonna steal my whiskey.